Midnight's Edge presents Real Boneheads of Cinema.
Real Boneheads of Cinema.
Today we salute you, Miss Kathleen Kennedy.
A real Temple of Doom.
Who could make so many movies, yet up the greatest franchise of all time?
How the hell did you make me like the prequels?
You made movies with Steven Spielberg.
Dude made Jaws and Jurassic Park.
You think some talent would have rubbed off on you?
Oh yes, some residual talent.
The only real talent you ever had was getting Spielberg coffee.
I'll take mine with 2 sugars.
And hiring Harvey Weinstein's former assistant was a nice move, wasn't it?
She likes all the Star Wars.
So pack up your and get your Baby Yoda hating forces female ass out of here because we've had enough.
Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, you real bonehead of cinema. Proving that the Fandom Menace isn't just toxic white males. It's toxic femininity brought to you by Midnight's Edge. Greetings, everybody. It's Monday night. Don't adjust your set. You have 3 lovely ladies on it and a schmo. That's right.
And
It's toxic femininity. We have a special guest this evening. That's right. That's Jessi from Mindless Entertainment herself. Say hello.
What's up? Hello. I was told to say that, so.
She is sitting in for Lorena, who's having a much-needed vacation, but we're always happy to have her. Of course, she's welcome anytime. She doesn't have to just pop in for guest spots. She can pop in anytime.
True that. I've got some extra guests here, too.
And she's got a kitty.
Not super
Love
feminine.
your baby.
You have a sticker on your arm.
I
Looks
did.
like a movie sticker or something. Yeah. At least it's that, not something probably embarrassing.
Oh
Hopefully.
no, it's an out of stock sticker for my supermarket.
You're out of stock.
I'm out
You're out of stock. It's the tag to a bottle of lube or something.
I was gonna say, like, at least it wasn't something embarrassing like a condom wrapper or something. You know, like,
Yeah, but if in order for it to be something embarrassing, that would require me to get embarrassed. So
yeah, that's true.
it's kind of hard to do. Now
And
so the sticker's on the cat, and he doesn't seem to notice. So there you go.
there you go. See,
You're
my, do-
out of stock.
yeah, my dog had a sticker on her earlier. It was one of those video stickers from the top, like the
Nice. Yeah.
it said the label on it. And to her, I believe it would be stage right or her left on your screen. I don't even know how to say that anymore because I don't know what I'm looking at. If it's the same thing you're looking at, if it's vice versa, if it's flip-flopped around. But that's a Laura OG Legends Star Wars gal. If I said it right this time, I don't even know.
He does not know what's going on these days. He's like,
I think I said it as a goof, like at first, the first few times to fuck it up on purpose, and then I've never gotten it right since.
Hey everyone, I'm OG Stars, your Legends girl trying to make it in this discounted world. And today we are going to talk about people having amnesia. Why are we getting less Kenobi? Movies in the series and Snyder. So are you guys excited for that? I'm excited to be here with you guys along with Jessi and Mary and Tom. Thank you.
Awesome. And to my left, I guess, would be, or your left, or their left.
We gotta work on your. We gotta come up with a new vernacular for streaming directions.
I know.
Screen left, screen right. You know that kind of
Stage
thing.
right, stage left thing. I understand that,
Well,
but
the thing is,
Just to my side.
It's weird though because in stage left, stage right is for the actors.
Yeah.
Camera though, camera right, camera left. Is
that's
from the
true.
front. Yeah.
It's facing, yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
true. That's
Mhm.
very true. But
Very true.
last but not least, our hostess with the mostest, Miss Mary B. The birthday girl stands for B this time, I guess, or B stands for birthday girl.
Kathleen Kennedy fucking sucks.
She gave me a great birthday present, I guess. Oh Lord, we're gonna get into all that goodness.
I say we
Hopefully-
revoke her vagina.
Yes,
can you
that's
do
the thing
that?
we can do. That's totally a thing that we can do.
We got a super chat before we started from Matt G. Says $2, 180 subs. Where's the celebration? I don't know. I don't know if Andre's going to want to do anything or not. We're pretty modest about that. Like, he might wait till we get like to 200. Like then he might do something.
Yeah, you want to wait for that big milestone, I think. It's the whole reason I haven't had like an 8K or anything like that. Like I'm holding out for that 10K.
At this point, if I ever get to 29,000, I'm gonna celebrate the fuck out of that.
It's taking so long. You're like, come on.
It's weird because I have my same regular audience on my streams. They're all going strong. All that's delightful. My views are down, but percentage-wise, not as bad as some people's have been. And yet my subs, I couldn't get new subs if I don't know, blew every man in California.
Oh, yours is way worse than what I was gonna say. I was gonna say hook yourself out on the street, but
I'm not even sure how to respond to that because I love Jeff. I can't think of those kind of things.
That's weird.
Like it's just nope, I can't think of that.
It would be unfaithful.
I would be waving my finger at you and going, but Jeff.
But Jeff.
Think of the Jeff.
Oh, but yes, happy birthday, Mary. How old are you now? 21?
Sure.
You're finally legal enough to drink on one of Jessi's streams. That's all that counts.
I did get carded earlier today whenever I went to go get cigarettes.
Awesome. Good feeling. Always a good feeling.
Yeah. That's a compliment in itself.
Which was kind of weird because I was all sweaty from going on a jog. I was like, are you stupid?
Like you were glistening. They liked your glisten.
Were you glowing?
Does that glisten work well with the pits but stains? Like,
do you guys ever get that? Like, you're like, oh, you must be feeling so good. You're glowing. It's like, no, honey, it's fucking hot out. Jesus Christ.
I have had people tell me I'm glowing at like weird points in my life. That I'm like, I'm really not sure what that means. Like, oh, honey, you're glowing. Like, did you get a new boyfriend? No. Did you lose weight? No, you're glowing. Cool. Maybe I have a skin disorder.
Maybe you're not of this planet and you just.
That's possible.
I glow most when I'm calling Kathleen Kennedy a twat. That's when I glow.
Twat? What are you talking about? Let's get to the 15-minute mark before we say too many more of those.
According to the update, though, when you go through to monetize your stuff now, the intro to which they're referring is the first 30 seconds.
Is that it?
Oh, because it said 15 minutes on the one thing, I thought.
Yeah, if you go straight into it, like if you go to switch monetization on for your streams and stuff, I noticed because they expounded on a bunch of things as well as made some more categories, like 3 instead of 2. Now for the profanity one, it specifically has a parenthetical that says first, something, in your intro in parentheses, first 30 seconds.
Wow.
So that's pretty
Well, that alleviates a whole lot of stress on my end.
Right?
Right.
Damn it. You're like, oh, fucking 30 seconds. I cannot drop the F-bomb for 30 seconds. That's fine. 15 minutes is a big ass. 30 seconds.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
I screw that up every time.
Right? Every time.
We have more than 30 seconds worth of video intros.
Right.
Exactly.
That gets me past that easy. Shit, yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, the Kathleen Kennedy video probably fucked us today, but oh well. Speaking of subscriptions, you can subscribe to any of these lovely ladies. In the description below, we have the links for that, so please run on over there. Also, we have the link for our t-shirts and our sweatshirts and all our other great stuff. You can even get our new Batman shirt that I helped design. Culture Casino actually did most of the actual designing, but I told him what to do.
Well, that's the important part.
You just bossed him around, that's all.
Like, yeah. Well, I said, I'm Batman in the logo of the old Batman. Okay.
Mm. Ooh, also, just because there might be some people in this chat here who aren't familiar with me, I'm going to probably keep touching my hair this much for the rest of the night.
Isn't that why you have that other Twitter that's like Jesse's hair or whatever?
Yeah, that's not even mine. I actually haven't seen Jesse's hair.
Yeah, it's not you, but yeah.
Yeah, that's like that's not even like someone I know or someone doing my. But that, by the way, is the original parody account. Period. That predates any of the Jeremy accounts. It's actually the reason there are the gajillion Jeremy accounts because someone made my hat or someone made my hair. They thought they should make Jeremy's hat so that my hat and hair and my hair and his hat could be in a relationship online or something. Which
wow,
they were shipping your headgear and hair.
Exactly. For my poor hair, fortunately, that never came to fruition. But from that, the concept of parodying people grew, and there's nobody better to be parodied than, of course, Jeremy, because he's already ridiculous. So
Somewhere out there is a parody account called Shotgun Lickin' Mary.
I've seen Mary's Bee. I'm not sure if I should.
It happened a long ago. The weird thing is, though, Jessi, I think I've known you long enough now. I don't even notice when you're doing the hair thing anymore.
I don't know.
I don't believe you.
Now it's true.
Oh my God.
You become desensitized to something and you just don't pay attention to it anymore. That's just I didn't even like the hair thing.
It's true. It's kind of become part of her personality in a way. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, that's honestly the number of times. If I had a nickel for the number of times someone has commented on one of my videos, do a shot for every time she flips her hair.
Oh yeah.
I need to put out a video that's like a surgeon.
You would kill people.
People would die. I need to make a Surgeon General's warning about not playing that drinking game.
Do not play the drinking game while watching Jessi Milestone.
It would be worse than like the Stephen King drinking game.
Oh God!
Have you ever heard of that? Where like you take a shot every time someone is from Maine, or someone, or someone, or no one in the town is an ass is not an asshole except the main characters. Oh,
I say there's some other ones. They're like most of them are from Maine, unless there's the very like select 2 or 3 stories that he has written where they're not set in a made up Maine town.
Definitely. Oh my God! You definitely have to take a drink for sex and finish your drink if there's more than 2 people involved.
Oh my God!
I mean, I think it's so important. Every time somebody dies, finish your drink if it's a mass murder event. I mean, yeah, like drink every time something supernatural happens.
I was gonna say supernatural every time something supernatural happens. We're all dead. We're all dead within the first 20 minutes.
Let me tell you, this used to be how we spent a lot of time. This was frequently my weekend in college. Friday was orgy Fridays. There weren't any actual orgies. It's funny. It's like the more I try to explain this party, the more incriminating it sounds. Like we didn't have orgies. We just took off all our clothes and drank out of the dick bowl. It's fine.
No, that sounds like a
regular,
like a typical weekend at the church basement happening.
Church basement.
And then Saturday was movie night, and I became an expert at crafting drinking rules to films that would get you messed up, but not so far gone that you couldn't finish the film. The best one we ever did was X-Men First Class, by far. It was just,
oh my God.
You would think drink every time someone uses a mutant power would be too much. It was perfect.
Really?
Just enough to destroy you during the action. Exactly. and then you just sat there kind of like in a coma during the exposition, except for all the homoerotic.
So you got 20 minutes to go like, I shouldn't have drank so fucking much.
But you still had to take sips for homoerotic moments between Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy.
You can rule the world, Jessi. You can like basically plan everybody's demise with those drinking games and rule the world.
So true.
We got some Doomacorns here. We got Terminus S sends in a $1.49 super sticker Doomacorn. And Culture Casino, our good buddy as well.
Hey,
did one as well. And yes, I sadly am. And a lot of reason for that is when I was a kid, before the internet was a big thing, I read like 1 year of Leonard Maltin's video guide from cover to cover.
Wow.
And marked like all the movies I had seen, I wanted to see. So like I knew shit about movies. Like I've forgotten more about than I remember.
I'm pissed that it's like my shelf is not over here where it used to be. I don't even know if I have it with me or not. I have some great like filmmaking books. I have the annotated Godfather. It's a great read through. It's the whole script beautifully, with pictures from the film and stuff, little annotations, all through it, just notes about the filmmaking, extended scenes, from the script that didn't make the movie, all this.
Right.
Phenomenal. I love those annotated scripts from filmmakers. That's like, I may not be an encyclopedia the way Tom is, but I am a uber nerd with something. If something hooks me like that, I will learn every little detail about it.
You'll have to tell Jeff
Disney, but
yeah, you're a Disney nerd. So you'll have to tell Jeff if I ever find my script writing book. I've got one that actually uses like a bunch of shit from Beverly Hills Cop 2, and that's why I got it.
That's so cool. That's awesome. I just have my trusty edition of Save the Cat.
I have to find that. It's in a box somewhere. Sister Harold sends an Australian $5. Says good day. Well, good day to you from down under.
Right?
I just met her last Thursday on my
Did you?
Aussie takeover. So
She's a big fan of the channel. She's always supporting us over here. So thank you so much.
Love them
Adam
all.
Wolford, speaking of support, another one. Also take a shot if the main character is an author. Holy shit.
So yeah,
You will how do you
I like living.
that's
We should
every
try
Stephen
that.
King movie. Like except for the Shawshank Redemption.
now
Like,
that said, The Mist. There's The Mist.
he's not an author in that. I can't remember anymore.
No, he's not an author in that, and there is no central main character to The Stand. I'm pretty sure at least one of them is an author, but there is no central main character. So
I think you're right. I don't think any of them are writers in that offhand. There's a musician though.
there definitely is a musician.
That's kind of took the spot of the author.
Yeah, because I don't think there were a lot.
He's a
of
songwriter. He's actually not a musician. I take that back. He's
Right.
just a songwriter, so that's pretty goddamn close.
That's pretty good. He's an author. He authors lyrics.
Exactly. So there you go.
Mary
Doomacorn.
Now I got to start on the Doomy thing. Now it's all over.
Well, it's just her thing. She's got to do it.
It's from Infinite Zim. It's freaking epic sauce. I love it.
All right, we got to get into the news here, folks.
Gee,
We've been. This is so much longer than we normally go for.
I was enjoying.
No.
Yes.
No. It was an interesting conversation, and we allowed some people to come in, so that's a good thing. So let's get to it. Tom needs to.
Poor Tom. Get your shit together.
I fixed it. I'll never make that mistake again. I deleted the old one.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, Tom, you got to share my screen here for me to jump into this here. So, Disney Plus finally confirmed something new about the Kenobi show.
I love this because the thing is, it's not even new. It's like, oh, Disney Plus finally confirmed this rumor that's been existing ever since they announced this thing, but it's technically new since no legitimate channel has actually.
Well, didn't they confirm it when she brought him out on stage and he's like, ask me.
Well, not
Ask me,
confirmed.
Kathy. You know what I want to hear. I want to hear you on your knees begging me to play Obi-Wan Kenobi again.
I've heard a lot of chatter around this about why this would be the case. We're going to go ahead and get through this little article here real quick. So, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show is one of the most hotly anticipated projects. You got that damn right. At Disney Plus, to the delight of Star Wars fans. The TV show was formally announced last year, and they have been eager for updates ever since. While Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy has finally confirmed something new about the upcoming series. And it's pretty big, even though it sucks.
You made
If
you
you
remember it. Sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you thought that the adventures of Obi-Wan Kenobi could populate a show comprised of multiple seasons, you would probably be correct. That said, Kathleen Kennedy has confirmed one of the critical aspects of the upcoming Disney Plus series, and it does not include such a long run. Kennedy told The Wrap, "It's been very exciting to see." Well, we'll read that here in a second. So yes, the Obi-Wan show will be a limited series. Of course, that is what they said about the all-starred led Big Little Lies. I don't even know what the fuck that is. The HBO hit got a second season and hope for a third season. Arguably springs eternal for fans of the drama. Success can have an impact on a show's longevity, but for no, though, you mean now. You fucking idiots. But for now, though, the plan is for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show to be a one and done at Disney Plus. You heard it here first, guys. Obi-Wan Kenobi is a 1 minute man.
Poor Kenobi.
I think that Ewan McGregor is going to take some offense to that particular statement.
I know he will, but I mean, like, I'm trying to separate this here.
So the notable quote that I remember, even as like a teenager, reading about Ewan McGregor on the set of the prequels, was him talking about how he the whole time just wanted to drop his trousers and show everyone his real lightsaber.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like I think that
Vroom.
insulting the manlyhood of one Ewan McGregor may be a fatal mistake.
I don't need to see that. I really do not need to see this.
I was about to say I wouldn't mind, and then I realized I already have because I've seen Velvet Goldmine. So
I don't know what that is, but now wait, what is it called?
Wait, you don't know Velvet? Okay, Mary.
It's a fucked up movie, but you get to see a schlong.
Mary, sit down.
Okay, well, I'm sitting down.
Okay, good. So Ewan McGregor plays a gay rock star who's he's like a glam Kurt Cobain. Jonathan Rhys-Meyers plays, who you might remember as the gorgeous coach from Bend It Like Beckham, plays a glam bisexual rock star, so David Bowie, basically. These two men fuck and also fuck Christian Bale, the angsty gay reporter.
Wow.
So it's just a...
Now, isn't this supposed to be like loosely based on the time that like David Bowie fucked Mick Jagger and somebody else? I can't remember who.
Yes, that's the idea. But essentially, it's a movie with glamorous music. Ewan McGregor, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, Christian Bale, all fucking each other and people, and a fantastic soundtrack.
Was it Iggy Pop?
Yes, yes, correct. And you get to see Ewan McGregor's big fat dong just hanging out there.
I'm forever using the term big fat dong from here on.
Okay, I'm storing that.
You heard it here first.
It's going into my catalog of frequently used.
You're welcome. So watch that video, watch it over and over again, watch it with delight. I saw it for the first time when I was like 12, no big deal. Shit happens, you know, shit happens, and then we grow up in certain very specific ways that were caused by certain things seen at formative times in our youth. But hey, who's counting?
Well, I will definitely take a well, Andrew's gonna kill me now. The only reason you watched it was to see Ewan McGregor's dong, big fat dong.
Yes.
Divorced.
Oh my God.
We're gonna steer this fucker out here, guys. So
Maybe there's too much
phrasing!
to see, so they're only limited to 4 shows. I'm sorry.
it's not
Like, hold on, I think we can get 4 episodes out before they realize
This was a family show at one point. No, I'm kidding.
It's called toxic femininity. You're inviting the worst women on the internet. This is not for family.
Yes, right?
I do want to address this though. I want to address this because this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen anybody. Well, not the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
No,
anybody,
that's coming up.
But it's pretty freaking stupid. So it's not an entirely surprising thing to learn when you consider that Ewan McGregor is reprising his role as the pre-New Hope Obi-Wan Kenobi. McGregor has a busy career, which has included television of late, while also comprising a steady theatrical beat. The idea of any in-demand actor committing to a multi-season series would honestly be surprising. Go fuck yourself in the left ear, okay? This has been Ewan McGregor's dream. He has been harping on about this for decades at this point, right? This is to try to convince me that Ewan McGregor wouldn't be on board for multiple seasons is stupid. And I'm convinced at this point that Disney just doesn't like money.
Now, here's the only counter I would have to that. Ewan McGregor also has eyes and a brain and has presumably watched or been exposed to the Disney Star Wars. It is conceivable that, you know, he doesn't want to sign on long term for a train wreck. That's definitely something that, as much as he enjoys the character and being in the universe and all that stuff, and as much as he wants to do it, it's definitely possible that someone of his stature, you know, full A-list there, doesn't want to commit deeper to something if it's not. I mean, think about it. It's like George Lucas saying, hey, them coming to George saying, hey, do you guys want to make my sequel trilogy? Yeah, sure. If he knew what it was going to be, he never would have sold to Disney, you know? So maybe.
Here's my problem, though. If it runs that route, that let's say it does as well as Mandalorian, right? Which I think I think an Obi-Wan Kenobi series is going to do well, period, right? Unless they completely jack it up. You're going to have, this is going to be something that old fans and new fans can rally around.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if they're running the risk of, should they want to make this multiple seasons, and then they go and wrap it up, and then they have to shoehorn in a second season later, which Disney will freaking do. They'll shoehorn in another season later after they've quote unquote wrapped it up. Either that, or they try to fit too much into what I, as I understand it to be, is going to be essentially about 4 hours, right? So we're talking about 4 episodes here, roughly hour-long episodes, and it's going to wind up being a situation where I'm not sure that they're going to have time. I know, it's more time than you would have gotten if you'd gotten a movie. Well, I didn't want a fucking movie. I wanted a trilogy.
So hear me out. So 4 hours will be enough if they wrote a story, maybe like a feature film story originally wrote like a script, and instead of cutting it down like you do after you write any good, decent screenplay, they just expanded upon it to fill that much time to go basically, because I think you can sit down and write 4 miniseries if you want to write 4 miniseries. I think typically writing 4 miniseries works the best when you already know the story you're telling.
Close the ad.
I did. Look.
You have your story.
It's still there.
It's there to just torture.
It's still there.
So what I'm going to say about this is that so if it's true that they discovered the 25 centuries of lore, 40 years or 40
Sorry by that. I just didn't want a copyright claim.
Thank you. 4 decades of story building that George and his company made. They could possibly be going off of this Legends novel here, which there's a lot of stories to tell based upon that. But also, what do you tell of Kenobi when he is in exile on Tatooine, other than trying not to be a Jedi anymore and trying not to blend or be relevant as one and blend in with his scenery and stuff, and protecting Luke Skywalker and the Lars family. So
you talk about him becoming a Force ghost and going through that training with Qui-Gon. There are a million different things that you could go through. And look, if they'd done the freaking sequel series right, you could have had him gone off and engaged in relations and had offspring Kenobis. And that would have been just fine by me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and with Kenobi, he's basically a Jedi like of the old, so that he wasn't into like creating relationships, or he would have left the order. That was in the Clone Wars, I believe, as well. But here, this has him meditating, learning from Qui-Gon. This has him going through his regrets and everything that he's gone through with Anakin Skywalker as well, and feeling that hurt and that pain, and then also too like trying not to, interact in such a way of protecting everybody like a Jedi would. So I mean, there's a lot of things that can be, extended out more than 4, in the season. There can be, if they know how to do it. But I think she's such from what I've seen she do with what she did with Mandalorian, I think she can pull it off.
I think she could too.
Mm-hmm.
I actually would have been, and this is just maybe this is just my uterus showing, but I actually would have been completely fine with a romance that he had to abandon because he ultimately decided.
Are we allowed to do that on YouTube?
He does abandon a romance in this because there's a woman that he meets and they're attracted to each other, but in the end he ends up sending her having her accomplish her dreams, and he sends her off to Alderaan. So we probably figured that she's off in Alderaan and she's gone after the fact.
So here's what I always thought the most compelling kind of narrative to see, and how you sort of wrap it up so that it's something that has climax and it's compelling, even though it doesn't take away from the original story, is what if, this, let's say this is a relation that he gets involved with. I'm down with that, Jim. I'm down with the romance and whatnot. I know it's not true to who Obi-Wan is, and if you look at the original stuff and whatnot, but whatever. Drastic times, all the other Jedi have destroyed. I've been destroyed. I'm not begrudging him this. But I think the most compelling way to structure is something like this woman's on Tatooine or whatever, wherever it is, he somehow becomes involved in her troubles in some good, noble cause, where underdog, kind of story there. But at the end of the day, he has to make the choice to either save, this woman and her family, her people, her whatever, or protect Luke from something, from some, threat.
And that's what happens in the novel here. And it's very compelling. Like I said, if they do play their heart or their everything right, and they do get ideas from here, like Chow does and stuff, and puts in the romantic aspects, as well as him trying to, get around from being a Jedi, but still study as a Jedi and stay a Jedi, protecting Luke, and with everything that happens on Tatooine, and he also discovers what happened with Anakin with, destroying the Sand People as well. So, I mean, if they put all that in and bring in other aspects from the movies that he didn't know, like Anakin destroying the Sand People after, out of revenge, that would be really great to watch. Really great.
That would be. Can I just say, though, that if at any point during this series Ewan McGregor says, I hate sand, or any part of that quote, I'm going to be 100% on board forever. I don't care what else you do. He could go become a pedophile, and I'd be like, fine. The series was great. The series was he could go teach children how to twerk or something, whatever that Netflix movie is. And I'd be like, great. He said, I hate sand. He paid homage to his former student. All is right with the world. All is right with the world.
She's like, and he can do whatever else he wants now. I don't care.
I
hope he can go marry a sad person.
You go pick puppies down the street until they die. I'd be like, well, he hates
like dropping endless amounts of puppies into the Sarlacc pit.
But you know what? He hates sand, so it's fine.
You can't drop that into a Sarlacc pit.
Okay, don't throw the puppies in the Sarlacc pit.
So wait, which is a bridge too far? Is it puppies or kittens that are a bridge too far?
Puppies. I saw that puppy on the treadmill. It was too much. I couldn't deal with it. Kittens are really, really precious, but they do have razors on their feet. So
I was gonna say, if you think people go nuts over kittens, you ain't seen shit. Go fuck with a puppy.
Yeah, that's like,
you'll bring down the wrath of God.
Don't fuck with cats was one thing. If that YouTube video whole thing, I don't know if you guys have seen that, by the way, it's a fantastic documentary. It's dark, but it's like, it was our Tiger King before we saw Tiger King, actually. Then everyone started to watch it. If they did like puppies, though, if someone put out a viral video on YouTube of someone killing a puppy, there wouldn't be this like global witch hunt from computers, from some few concerned citizens. There would be, a mass mob knocking down that person's door, stabbing him to death with pitchforks.
I think the cops would actually step in, because let's face it, we know cats are dicks.
They are. Cats suck.
But we love them because they're cute. But we know puppies and dogs are loyal, like to a fault. So we know, like, you do something to a dog, like, you got to be the worst kind of a sick fuck.
Exactly. It's like how I don't feel bad when a baby cries. I know the baby's going to grow up to become a human, and the human's going to suck. I know a kitten's going to grow up to be a cat, and that cat's going to break a whole lot of things in its lifetime.
Yes.
A puppy grows into a dog, which is going to stare at you adoringly for the rest of your life. Love the crap out of you no matter what you do. Be there for you no matter what happens. I have 4 cats, but Christ,
it's true. The whole demeanor of what it is, like let's say cats and dogs, when they do things to piss you off, they're two completely different things. The cat will stare you in the eye while it knocks your favorite glass off the counter.
And a cat will also let you know they're ignoring you, by the way.
A dog will look at you surprised and terribly sad that it's upset you when it ate all the garbage, right?
I didn't mean to. I was just trying to have some tasty garbage. Would you like some too? I saved you a piece.
Well, a dog just genuinely doesn't understand why you're upset, but it's just upset that you're upset.
What did I do? Right? Like, dogs have the decency to be abashed. Cats are like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, cat is like, fuck you, it's your fault. You pissed me off.
Cats are like scratching on your couch, like, F you.
That's the problem. I destroyed my cats because I only ever grew up with dogs, so I raised all my cats like dogs. So now they're like, I think I'm a cat. I'm supposed to knock things down. The shebang's the worst because he's like, I'm a cat. I'm supposed to knock everything off and break all the things, but also I want attention all the time. Hi, I love you. Hi, pat me. Hi, pat me. Hi, pat me. So it's like the worst parts of having a dog, the worst parts of having a cat, plus all of the adorableness of both. So it's, it's
yes,
right.
Yes, memes or shit in your toaster. I had a cat. I could have sworn I told you. I seriously, I know I've told you this story. I went to go make toast. and it smelled like burning piss. And I was
Oh my God! What?
That is so disgusting.
Han, where are you? I will never get mad at you for shitting on the floor ever again. God, thank you for not shitting in my toaster. That's awful.
We got a couple super chats here. Raging Rhino sends in $2.99, but I'm going to get to his right after these other ones here because this one from Terminus Est actually goes with what we're talking about. Sends in $2, says, shows off his dinghy. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi then?
I love Terminus. He's so freaking witty.
He
That's
is.
a great parody right there. That's a great adult parody.
Well, now somebody already made the porno. And Fat Steven Seagal's in the house says, which one is better with Frank's Red Hot? I'm not sure.
Kittens?
Oh, good
What is
God.
wrong with you?
He's Fat Steven Seagal. He'll eat anything.
He'll eat anything. I think you're better off with raccoons. I hear they're just more full of flavor.
And rabies.
and our good friend Raging Rhino had a perfect segue into our next bit. He says, my response to KK is liar in the Anakin voice.
There you go. We need that. That's awesome.
I'm surprised.
Oh, sorry.
After having Rhino on my stream a couple weeks in a row, $2 super chats are the best thing that ever happened to me because it's a very strict word limit. So
the force is strong with this one, says Fat Steven Seagal.
Love you, Rhino.
That would go with that movie parody right there.
and yes, Diego Flores, that is why Asshole is named Asshole. I have a cat named Asshole. He had a different name, but he was called Asshole more than his other name, so Asshole just stuck. When he's being nice, he's kidding.
Does he say when he talks about his cat, I love my asshole?
I don't. Well, when he's a good kitty, he's kitty. See, when he's good kitty, he's kitty because he's a kitty.
My brother's cat kept pissing on my freaking couch, and so I would because I wanted to avoid actual animal abuse, but I would grab him by either side of his face and like grab and push my face into his face and sing, "You're an asshole!" And so
you're an asshole, Leo Leo. All right, I'm heading in the back while you all talk about Miss Kate.
Yeah, we're gonna kick it on over to Alora for this one.
Okay, so when I seen this, I was very busy in the morning, and then this was sent to me, and I'm using Ichibaki's article instead of the direct one that I was sent. Holy crap! I wanted to be mad, and then I was laughing my ass off about it. But here we go. So this is Disney. Star Wars is dumb, and basically Kathleen Kennedy suddenly discovers books. She can read.
Oh my God, I love it.
She can read. Hallelujah, right?
Well, hold on. These are probably mostly available on audiobooks.
The thing is they are available on audiobooks.
They are very.
It's literally I'm giving you a treasure trove. It's like,
what would surprise you more, finding out that Kathleen Kennedy can read or finding out that she can listen?
Ooh, now that's a good question.
Well, we'll figure that one out here soon because I am going to play a video of her talking with George about the treasure trove of material.
Just turn the knife, why don't you?
Just turn it slowly. All right, so let's get into this. And so Ichibaka cuts out the meat and potatoes from that article and gives it to us here direct. You know how he is with his reporting. The direct reports on comments from Kathleen Kennedy made to the wrap. Oh yeah, it's an ever-evolving process. When I personally come into this, George had already been having conversation with his previous actors, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, and Mark Hamill. There was a saga that the fans loved, and he never finished. He always talked about doing 9 movies, and he was ready to complete that. And so our focus had been from the beginning on finishing that saga. Yet, Kathy, perhaps you've heard of the treatments for the sequel trilogy that George wrote that you and Abrams carelessly tossed out. And that was also, in Bob Iger's memoirs about not using them, that they betrayed George.
They sat there and stared him in the face and said, "Oh yeah, we'll probably do this." And they left him with the impression that this was what was going to happen. And then they stabbed him in the back.
Exactly. And so this is where it gets I was like, like I was like cringing, but then I was laughing because as a huge EU George Lucas era fan, this was kind of like a big slap into our faces, but also it's like, really, you have amnesia? I've seen the videos with George. And so here we go. And now we're stepping back. Stories have been told within the universe over the last 40 odd years. Really? Really? I just held up one of those novels earlier. And there's now the realization that this is a mythology that actually spans about 25,000 years.
Yeah.
25,000 years that George and his company brilliantly made off of the movies, hired writers to come in, set the boundaries, the stories, approve plot, whatever. He helped set this up within his company. When you really started to look at all the different stories that have been told, whether it's in books and games, really, we just need the time to step back and really absorb what George has created and then start to think about where things might go. That's what we've been doing, and we've been having a great deal of fun doing it. So is this when she was like went on hiatus, when she was very quiet for a long time? Was she back there reading the books and discovering what George was?
She was having someone explain it to her like she was 2, and she kept getting distracted and eating cookies and wanting to go get people's coffee.
She was in the bathroom the whole time.
Here's my hot take. She was sat down with the other Lucasfilms and Disney execs discussing how she will not be seeking to re-extend her contract in 2021, but instead will be amicably stepping down for her own wishes and desires to a very generous severance package. So she will go quietly into retirement or whatever little pet project she has lined up next. And during this time was being coached on talking points about the direction that Disney and Lucasfilm is going to take Star Wars without her, i.e. going to the source material. That's
exactly.
Yeah, they coached her for this, which is absolutely ridiculous. But I think it kind of pisses me off a little bit that she's in an odd way trying to take credit for the direction that they'll be moving forward. And look, I'm still not convinced that I want them anywhere near the books in the EU. I'm actually quite opposite on that, because I don't know that they're going to do a good job. They've certainly not done anything at this point to impress on me the reverence that they should be having for this kind of stuff. And there's still plenty of crap running around in terms of, I've heard plenty about their 2 camps running around Lucasfilm, and we have no reason to believe that them gravitating towards actually producing content that George Lucas himself underlined and approved previously, that the stuff that is actually within the Star Wars universe, the prior to this canon, right?
Yeah.
I have no reason to believe that that's going to be done well at this point. But should it end better than it's been going so far, now she gets to go, see, look what I did, guys.
She is tucking tail.
Bitch, you are the one who made it Legends in the fucking first place.
Exactly. And she's tucking tail on her way out. That's what she's doing. And meeting with lots of different filmmakers. So this is what they're doing now. And talent. There's so many fans out there and so many filmmakers that have been influenced by Star Wars for a long time, that it's a fantastic opportunity to get a sense of who wants to be part of this. So that's what we have been doing. Now they're going to finally listen to the fan and not criticize us and call us names because we didn't like the direction that they were going.
Why didn't you do this for the sequel? Those people were still there. All of the people inspired by these movies were there. The qualified creators who have written the effing EU stories all existed then. The people who actually wanted to make Star Wars and make it good were all alive 10 fucking years ago. Where the hell were you?
Mm-hmm.
This house is a fucking prison on planet bullshit in the galaxy of this sucks camel dicks.
And look, here's the thing. Like Jessi made a really good point about the whole, Ewan McGregor potentially not wanting to come back because Star Wars is a shit show and sign on for multiple seasons, which we know just based on his general attitude towards it for decades at this point. We know that he would have been willing to do that. And so I'm sorry, but I do lay the blame squarely on Kathleen Kennedy's shoulders when we look at the fact that we're probably going to be getting a one-shot Obi-Wan Kenobi series because Kathleen Kennedy's a fucking idiot. You can't convince me that he wouldn't have signed on for 2-3 seasons to do a 4, 5, 6 show run per season or whatever. You're not going to convince me that wouldn't have been the case prior to this entire debacle. And so her legacy that she leaves behind is leaving people who would have been on board, loved this, and been completely in the loop. Yes, this is happening, and given fans exactly what they wanted, is now utterly destroyed in the wake because freaking Ewan McGregor's sitting over there going, well, I don't know, I could be making movies about my big dong instead. So
may the schlong be with you. All right, so let's go on to the video here just to listen to what exactly is left towards her, and what Disney tossed along with, Disney, I coined her because she's the one that oversees Lucasfilm under Disney. She tossed
everything to possibly imagine. So, I sort of moved that treasure trove of stories and various things to Kathy, and I have complete confidence that she's going to take them and make great movies.
Well, actually, George Lucas never wrote a script for 7, 8, or 9. And the ideas that I think you're referencing are ideas that he had for other possible movies. They were small summaries that represented some thoughts and ideas, but he never.
Okay, so what do you guys think about that?
Liars! Entire story treatments that they purchased.
She made me say the C word.
Bob Iger wrote this in his goddamn book, his own words, about how, yes, I bought Lucas's treatments. I led him into believing I was going to use his stories.
Right.
We never had any intention of using them, and he felt betrayed because we didn't. Because he was under the impression we were actually going to give a shit about the work we paid all this money for, but we don't actually care. Like, we're not that stupid, Kathleen Kennedy. We're not that. The answers are all out there, right? Straight from them. It's not like you have to sleuth around. They're straight from their own mouths. Straight from these people's mouths. They're so arrogant. They ran around bragging about look how good we did. Look how much better than George Lucas we are. They're all bragging. Now they're all eating their words now, trying to turn around and say, oh, we love Lucas. We respect him. Proof's in the pudding. You can't change history. You can try, but you cannot. It is there, and it is not going away.
And did you notice what she said? She said that he never wrote scripts. He did not write scripts. Right. He gave a treatment. He gave story treatments.
Full story treatments that they purchased from him. And here's this right here is on full display. The exact reason why you should never take anything that comes out of Kathleen Kennedy's mouth at face value. This woman is a chronic liar, right? Just period. Yeah. She's just a liar. And so when she looks at you and tells you, oh, well, we're taking a step back and trying to figure out how to incorporate these wonderful stories. No, you're trying to figure out how to bastardize these stories is what you're trying to do. And I will not for 2 seconds accept that you're actually trying to take a step back into a place where you respect George Lucas. You have to earn that trust from me back, okay? Because you had it blindly. You had it blindly going into The Force Awakens, right? And you even had a forgiveness from me when I went into The Last Jedi, because I hated The Force Awakens. I was genuinely upset over that movie, but I forgave it, and I moved forward with The Last Jedi thinking, okay, well, I can forgive, and we can try to make something out of this, right? There are still things we can be excited about, right? Never mind that I will never see Luke, Han, and Leia on screen together again. I was still willing to forgive this really big trespass, and that was a big forgive there, people. I was still willing to do that when we go into The Last Jedi, and you fucked up, Luke. Go fuck yourself in your left ear, you hoe bag. I cannot believe that I tried so hard to give you the benefit of the doubt over and over again, and you slapped us in the face every time. You are going to have to earn that trust back, Kathleen Kennedy. So when you tell me, oh, you're going to be trying to take these things that George Lucas made in this wonderful universe, and we're going to be taking a step back and trying to figure out how we can honor and respect that, how we can do this moving forward, you can kiss my ass. I don't believe you, because you are a liar. You are a flaming liar.
And the thing is that if you look back at the history, George contracted the big three as the buyout was starting to happen. So the big three came in knowing that they were going to come in and carry on the story to its end in the so-called Skywalker saga. So this is basically her just lying through her teeth. expression in her face.
Which
She
is
looks
so
terrified.
which is so shady, by the way, because again, like Iger talks about that right in his book. Is this the article that quotes him? This might be. There was an article that was quoting him directly, and he talks about it, right in there too, about Lucas coming to them with those trees. Lucas is the one who came to them and said, I have these ideas. Iger was the one who was like, I want to buy these ideas from you. Essentially set up the entire Lucasfilm deal under the pretense that he wanted Lucas's stories to make the sequels. The entire pretense, the entire thing that got Lucas to go, okay, I'm listening, is, hey, we want to buy your scripts and make your movies. Oh, you mean I don't have to be on the helm of this?
Did you read his book or whatever?
I've read parts of it. I've read like excerpts that people have sent me, and I've heard Anna's summations very frequently because she has read I do want to read it all.
Oh, I read it, and basically, yeah, like the way it went was like George was like, he wanted to sell it, he wanted so much for it, he wanted to sell, but he also he was intent on selling these scripts. But the only thing Bob's deal was he said he'll buy them, and he insisted on buying them, of course, like you were saying. But he also wanted a clause that they did not have to use them.
Yes, yeah. That which is, and but did everything up. It's the smoke and mirrors routine. Oh, let's throw that clause in there. We're under no contractual, and it's what they do. It's what people do, like this shady shit like this in the business all the time. I'm actually surprised they got this one over George. I think he just didn't care anymore, so he's willing to overlook that, take the money, and run. Because he's full of shit all the time. Same thing. Actually, that was kind of a funny bit in the Disaster Artist. That was something that happened with Tommy Wiseau. Is he had shot his part of his contract was that he had to have a scene with him in it in the movie. They shoved it in like a mid-credit sequence of James Franco's Tommy Wiseau meeting Tommy Wiseau's Tommy Wiseau. It was funny. It was really funny, but it had no place in the actual story, so they just shoved it right at the end there. It was like a mid-credit sequence because there was nothing additional in the contract about that. That's apparently Donald Trump has gotten screwed over from. He has shot a multitude more cameos that he's actually appeared in because nobody on his team understands, the movie side of production side of things enough to make sure that if you're signing a contract for a cameo, it's guaranteed to show. Because if it's not, then they're not guaranteed to do it. That's always the loophole they use. It's classic loophole. It's been used time and time again. Again, that's what I'm saying. Surprise Lucas fell for it. He got so enamored with this idea. Oh yeah, we're gonna have you in here as a consultant. We're gonna list you as a consultant for these scripts. That's what we want. And just believing it, naive enough, to believe that my friend Kathleen Kennedy wouldn't screw me over.
Exactly.
Naive enough to just take that and go, oh, well, if Kathleen Kennedy's going to be the president, then it's fine because we're old friends. We go way back. Of course she'll listen to me. It's not going to be an issue. And that to me is why, like, Iger's Iger. That to me is why Kathleen Kennedy is so much worse because she's somebody that Lucas helped create. Lucas helped invent her by making the movies that had the jobs that she could do, which she's a glorified paper pusher. That's what she could do. That's what she was good at. She doesn't exist without these blockbuster creatives. They gave her
a creative bone in her body.
So for her to turn around and do this.
Go ahead.
Sorry, you're rabbiting a little on my end.
Am I? Weird.
Hold on. A sound. I can't hear you guys.
Oh, hello.
Is that me or is that you? Hello?
I have.
Yeah. Did I go out?
I can hear everybody just fine.
All right.
I can hear Buddy too.
Okay. It must have been me then. I lost. I think Mary, I lost you in there.
Oh, okay. No, I was just agreeing with you. She doesn't have a creative bone in her body. This woman has absolutely relied on every, interestingly enough, man around her to prop her up and to make her look as though she had something to offer besides deciding how many scoops of hazelnut creamer to put into your coffee.
And the thing is, yeah, and the thing is that when they first bought the property, they decided, oh, well, we're not going to use the EU material. That's going to be Coin Legend because we want our own creative freedom. And then they have this clause in here of like, we may not use the scripts that we buy from you, George. Sorry, but maybe you can come in and consult us, basically. And so they're doing all this stuff. But why can't she even say, hey, we're not obligated to use the scripts. We want to do our own creative freedom. And instead of saying, oh, well, we discovered these books here, or he never wrote this, and so we went on our own way with it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
here's the thing that kind of pisses me off about all this. And look, I'll just run with the whole women card here for 2 seconds, okay? She really put it out there that, oh, this was like super empowering for women, the force is female, blah blah blah. But you made us all look bad, you twat waffle. You made us all look really fucking bad because every argument that anybody had about, oh, women not being able to do this kind of stuff, you fucking gave them ammo for. You gave them ammo for this shit. Why couldn't you, if you were bound and determined to hand it to a female, which I think is a stupid thing to have a precedent set for anyway, right? But if you're bound and determined to hand it to a female, can you at least hand it to someone with a shred of freaking passion? She had a ball of Miyazaki she could have unleashed on the world, and she fucked it. She fucked it up. And I do not understand how she felt that this was in any way beneficial to women to fuck it up. Jesus.
Because this is modern feminism. Modern feminism is use all the men around you to get what you want, act like you did it all yourself, and then walk away like your shit don't stink. That's the whole thing. And the whole thing is, it doesn't matter if she fucks it up. It doesn't matter if she makes a good quality product or not. Because if you say boo to her, oh, you hate women. You hate women. You're just doing this because you hate women, because you can't stand to see a woman succeed. No, I can't stand to see you succeed, you talentless hack.
Yeah. And that's the weird part to me, is that, like, if you'd wanted to discard George Lucas and the entire universe that it was already, if that was what you wanted to do, and to go pursue your own creative path, that would have been fine. Not really, but we would have embraced it if you had done it well. If you had proven to us that it was worthwhile in the long run, that you actually had something resembling a creative vision for this stuff. And so now you're chickening out because your stuff is shit, right? Now you're like, oh fuck, we screwed up royally, and so you're backtracking. And I'm not sure exactly what you expect to see from fans, right? I'm not sure what exactly it is that they expect us to respond to all of this with, other than, well, fucking duh, and you're still a hack. So why would we want, you've already proven to us that you're a hack. Why would we want your hands on the things that, at least for now, are sitting there and we can still enjoy them as they are in peace, right? We can still go get those Legends books. We can still go play those games. We can still do that in peace. Now you're going to go grab it. And I'm sorry, I swear to Bob, if they take Revan and turn him into a fucking gay chick, I'm going to be pissed as hell. I'm going to be so freaking pissed off. Leave Bastila and Revan alone until you can prove to me that you can get someone to helm this stuff that's going to create something worthy of the content that you are trying to put out there. You can fuck right off into left field. I don't want to see you anywhere near it. I don't want to see you anywhere near it.
And at the EU fan, that's where I'm afraid of, because look at Rogue One. Everybody loves it, not only for the Vader scene, which is a phenomenal scene, because people want to see Vader, during Order 66 and stuff, and his full potential. But that when you look at it and you look at the Dark Forces, which basically is based upon games, and then they have their own novels, which is canon to the overall lore. Everything resembles that comes out of the Dark Forces Rogue One resembles Dark Forces all the way, because there's that familiarity in there. There's that story plot that everybody loved that's within Rogue One, and people don't realize that. But the thing is that the EU fans like me and everybody else that loves it, we want to see it come out in its entirety, in its true form, not these characters that were based upon those characters. We want to see Kyle Katarn. We want to see Jan Ors. We want to see all of them that got the Death Star plans.
Well, look, a rose by any other name smells as sweet, right? I think everybody would have been fine if you had taken these characters, and even if you'd renamed them for the purposes of branding them as Disney characters, right? But you'd done justice by them, and you'd done them well. I think people would have embraced that and accepted it, and moved on and been like, okay, this is a rose by any other name, right? And it would have been fine. But instead, what you did was poach aspects, just enough for them to be vaguely resembling the things that people knew and loved, and then went and pissed them off over the side of a cliff.
Well, it's like, to take your analogy, it's like they looked at a picture of a beautiful rose. They just took a bunch of like melted plastic to a 3-year-old, gave him a mold and said, here, make a rose. And the 3-year-old made a plastic shit ass rose. And they went, see, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. We use the mold and everything. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
No, it's effing not. And we're not stupid enough to believe that.
Plastic in here.
Exactly. And it smells like asshole, which, it looks like one too. How about that?
You can just see them trying to get the rose right, and instead it just looks like a puckered asshole. Oh my God.
Be like that show Nailed It. You guys have never seen that show? It's incredible. It's Netflix takes 3 people who can't bake and has to do a baking competition. And the product is supposed to be a la like, Great American Bake Off and whatnot and stuff like that. But it's like these total amateur cooks, and they try, and it's cute. And that's what it feels like. Disney Star Wars feels like that to real Star Wars, except with like 100% less heart and adorableness.
Yeah.
Well,
So go ahead.
The weird part is that they have all of the amenities needed, right? That you had everything at your fingertips.
Yeah.
You had George Lucas made fucking Star Wars out of some scraps and trash, okay? Like, he made this shit out of literally
Tony
nothing.
Stark made this in a cave.
Yes.
Well,
And you had everything you needed, including the story treatments.
Mhm.
You threw it into the trash.
including access to Lucas, infinite access to Lucas himself. Should you have wanted it? You was your own personal Tony Stark to build your own little Iron Man suit, and you said, "Nah, I'd rather just make Justice League instead."
Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of this
Wonderful transition.
Yeah, let's finish out this video real quick, and then we'll transition. So just a little bit more of this. Just
Definitely.
I just said that I would back her up, and I would be there if and especially helping with the script and making sure the script sort of there's a lot of
It
blanks.
totally sound like I said knock her up, not back her up, but
All right, George, calm your tits. Keep it in your pants.
Group of ideas and characters and books and all kinds of things. We could go on making Star Wars for the next 100 years.
We don't have source material. We don't have 800-page books that we're adapting. We don't even really have comic books that give us a great. This is not like a series of books like Harry Potter where you've already got a template of what the stories might be.
I have story treatments of 7, 8, and 9 and a bunch of other movies, and obviously we have hundreds of books and comics and everything you can possibly imagine. So, I sort of moved that treasure trove of stories and various things to Kathy, and I have complete confidence that she's going to take them and make great movies.
Mm-hmm. Good fucking luck. Good fucking luck. That's
Yeah, no. Like, they can't even do with the most amazing assets possible that you could even do. Like, we're talking about Disney here, people, okay? We're talking about Disney is a tyrant, okay? It's a mountain of resources, and they can't seem to do this, even though they had everything at their fingertips. Everything was handed to them, and they just can't seem to do it. I don't understand. I really don't understand. Really, you had to hire just a couple of people for this to work. You could have hired Anna. On way better.
It just blows my mind, because now, I mean, like, every single day we have the newest remake, the newest reboot, the newest sequel being announced too. Like, apparently they're making a live action Powerpuff Girls now. To me, it's just the well has run so dry. At some point, it's like, could you trace this back? Could you find the moment you went wrong? Like, at some point, we just tipped over that cliff, We went from, it's like, there's a really important layer of magic between retelling the same stories over and over again and beautiful new cinema, all that is, because that's what we do. That's all we do as storytellers, as creatives, as artists. We retell the same core universal stories over and over again in different forms. Now we can blend them together, we can break them apart, deconstruct them, add new elements, new things. Part of what makes that rich is whatever pieces from your world or the world you create, you add into it. And so, like I said, that's the veneer of magic, though. That's all you're doing is taking a little bit of magic here and there and stirring that into your pot of tried and true stories. And then you have these brilliant, beautiful things. I mean, in so many ways, Anakin's story is the Christ story. But it's in fucking Star Wars land, and it's with characters, with a family, names that we recognize from something completely different, with beautiful things we recognize from something else. The epic journey, that's Luke's story, and we've seen that over and over again from the time of the Greeks storytelling. But when Lucas sets it in Star Wars, now it's new, now it's different. That's the point, and they've lost that little step. The only really new creative thing that you add to this process is gone. That little whatever we're going to do, how are we going to mix this up? This is going to be your classic redemption story, but your classic epic journey, but your classic love story, but you're missing that that core question that every writer, creator ever is supposed to ask themselves when they sit down to create a story. Why am I telling this story now?
The only thing they ever asked themselves was how they could go about making women more empowered. I honestly believe that's the only thing they ever asked themselves.
I don't think there's the diversity that they're asking. They're not focused on the storytelling. They're focused on the diversity. But when you look again at George Lucas's movies and even the EU and the games and stuff, it had diverse in there. It had species that we didn't know about. It had Mandalorians that had, that were in a gay relationship as well, that, really didn't need to be focused on the story, but you kind of knew they were and the relationship, but it, they had everything in it.
The video I put out actually the day before, I might have even put out the day I went to go see The Last Jedi. The last Star Wars video I put out before The Last Jedi came out was feminism in Star Wars. It was a comparison of Princess Leia, and I think I might have did Amidala as well, to Rey in The Force Awakens. And I talked about, even just with The Force Awakens, the arguably least problematic of the Disney sequel, the saga, I still sat down and made a whole video talking about how feminism, 40 years ago was better in Star Wars than feminism in The Force Awakens. Just in The Force Awakens, I mean, once we get into The Last Jedi, forget it. It's even worse. Because literally, it's a movie where a woman follows two different men around, asking them to show her place. It's what I always come back to with The Last Jedi. That just blew my mind. When I watched this movie, I'm like, how could the feminism get any worse? How could this character be any less empowered? How could she have any less agency than she had in the first movie? Because the question that they're asking themselves is not how do we make women look empowered? It's how do we make people think we believe in strong women? We believe in that.
And Leia was perfect because she wasn't going around asking how she should be. She was basically telling everybody orders and stuff and leading and fighting against the Empire. She wasn't, like, oh God, where's my family? Or where am I going to go with this? Who am I? And being that kind of,
Exactly.
Well, look, here's the thing. They managed to introduce. Look, I'm trying to put myself in this very narrow world where the only thing I've ever seen is A New Hope. Right? If you watch A New Hope, freaking Han's an asshole. He's a chauvinistic pig. Right? He really is. He's a very chauvinistic pig. He's literally making jokes about not letting women make decisions anymore. Right? Like he makes those jokes, and she shows him up. Right? But he's not one-dimensional, and he's not devoid of likability. He just happens to have this flaw about himself, and he's completely redeemable. And it's not as though he ever loses the quirkiness that he has, that sort of asshole tendency that he has. He just grows and begins to see via people like Leia showing him how strong and capable women can be. He loses those scales. They drop off of his eyes, and he's able to see the world in a different and new way because of Leia's strength. Freaking Han grows, right? And it's a beautiful story to behold, and legitimately progressive. Legitimately progressive, because you never hate Han for it. You just understand he's a guy with a very narrow worldview, and he needs to grow up a little bit, right? And he does. And that's the wonderful thing about the original Star Wars, is that people could have defaults. They could have character flaws, right? But that didn't make them the enemy, right?
Well, if you looked at all three of them too, they all learned things from each other. Luke was this very provincial, yuppie little farmer boy who learned everything about the galaxy and being in a blaster fight and all that stuff from Han, but he brought his optimism, and he sort of infected Leia and Han with that in a way. Han had his lack of his sort of cynicism, and he was opened up to caring about more than just himself, by Leia's dedication to her cause, by Luke's friendship and whatnot. And you had Leia, who was her whole thing, which was she was the Ice Queen. She was totally hard and this and that. And it was sort of a big deal. People sort of don't look at her journey as much, but her softening in Empire is as major of a shift for her, is as major of a development for her as Han's, coming back to save his friends in A New Hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I did a video on Leia's feminine hero's journey, because that is part of her journey. Is she has a feminine one where she goes from this military, diplomatic, hard demeanor, and how she softens up through love, through friendship, through family, and becomes the woman she needs to be.
Exactly. And that's the whole beautiful thing about it, is adding those more effeminate qualities to her, to up until, we finally see her quite literally with her hair down in the third one, never takes away from her strength or her power. We see her in probably her most delicate is in Endor, all dressed down with the hair down, looking very vulnerable and very feminine, and being vulnerable to Han, in a way, and being afraid of that for her. You see her be terrified of that vulnerability, and then turns around, and the next day he says, "I love you," and she says, "I know."
I want to address two things in the chat. Sean Wilson, be careful, you sound like a feminist talk. I don't know if you looked at the name of the stream. It's called Toxic Femininity.
We are women.
I don't know if you caught that before you showed up, Sean, but I'm glad you're here.
Things.
And Dirus, Dirus, Mary is full of it. My sweetheart, I know more about Star Wars than you, I promise you. Han is an independent person. I never said he wasn't. He didn't like someone busting his balls. Yeah, but he also literally made the statement, if we can avoid any more women decision-making or something.
If we can avoid any more, what is the exact term? Jeff, what's the exact phrase he uses?
What?
When Han's like, if we can avoid any more, what's the derogatory thing he says still about feminine interference or something like that?
Female advice.
Yeah.
Female advice. That's what
That's what he literally said that. That's on purpose. That's
like,
not in there for no reason. You're right. He doesn't like someone busting his balls, but he sounds like a chauvinistic pig while he's doing it. Yes, that's there on purpose. And being a woman had nothing to do with it. However, her nobility status did. You can say what you like. But
I do want to say to the chat though about that too is like it just because when I was trying to gather with her, I had them all lined up in a row, and then a bowling ball just went and knocked them all down. First of all, just Mary calling him, saying he sounds like a chauvinist pig is not necessarily a knock or a criticism on him. I happen to agree with Mary that he sounds very chauvinistic at points in the first movie. I have always loved Han. I always admired him. I always looked up to him. The fact that he says that's the whole thing that people forget on both sides. People forget now when we're criticizing. It's like it's a thing like when you have a hammer, everything's a nail. I think people have started to see wokeness where it isn't. Now it's like anytime a woman does something empowering, it's woke. Anytime a man is a jerk to a woman, it's woke. And like he gets his comments, it's woke. No, these things have existed in movies since forever. Girl power is not a new idea. A man being a chauvinist pig is not a new idea. It's a trope that's used in film all the time, just like a bitchy girlfriend is or something like that. It's not a knock on the film or a knock against, oh my God, terrible. Like the phrase, you're a chauvinist pig, like chauvinist pig has been a phrase that women have used to, criticize men for years, far before wokeness and all that crap has happened.
And it doesn't mean we hate Han. It doesn't mean I've never hated Han.
Han is my favorite character in the entire damn series.
Absolutely. I adore Han, and I love, but one of the things that I appreciate most about Han is his growth.
Exactly.
It's the fact that he goes from someone who is incredibly self-centered and with nothing but disdain for everyone around him, unless what they're doing lines up exactly with what he wants, to being self-sacrificial. He could have gotten killed in that fight, but instead he came back and he covered Luke, and he essentially made the entire win possible, right? And so if it hadn't been for Han, there's no Luke. Luke dies, and then by extension Leia dies because they blow up the planet, right? So that's all there is to that. I adore Han, but he says some chauvinistic shit in that. All the better. I'm grateful he says some stupid ass shit because I love the arc that he goes through.
Oh yeah, and now that all his verbiage that we see from the beginning, all the way leading up to that final kiss him and Leia does, and they finally become a couple. That is like their arc of the relationship. He comes in, being this guy who is like, who the hell are you talking to me that way? To then start softening off and doing now like little jokes with her in Empire Strikes Back, and then from there they start evolving into a relationship. So we see that arc there. We see that transformation.
I'll take that even one step further and say that you can't really appreciate, because I always talk about this as the final step in Han's arc. I talk about Han's arc a lot because he's my favorite character ever. Like not even just Star Wars, he's my favorite character ever. And I love his redemption arc and how each movie builds a little more on it. And in the third one, the real culmination is you'd think, him choosing to become the general and, taking the helm for this cause. Sure, that's great. But the real moment comes right at that end that you brought up, OG Star Wars, about how he has that soft, tender moment with Leia. But right before that, he tells her that he's not going to get in her way with Luke because he still thinks they're a thing. He doesn't know their brother and sister yet. This is really, talking about the guy that was characterized in the first movie. You need that characterization. How would you think that guy looks at women? You'd think he looks at them as like a prize, like his money, like a reward. And now you get to the guy who we wouldn't even imagine, we couldn't possibly imagine that initial version of Han Solo just giving up on a woman because his friend wants her or some other guy wants her, and now he's willing to step out of the way for the sake of his friend and the love of his life's happiness.
Because
and that
he cares far more about their happiness than he does himself.
Exactly.
And he's willing to swallow that. And yeah, you have an absolute arc that spans 3 movies, right? Even as they're shoving him down into the freaking carbonite and he's sitting there, he's there and he's like, you have to take care of the princess, right? He's literally getting ready to be frozen and God knows if he'll live through it. And in that moment, he's more worried about whether or not Leia is going to be able to herself survive this ordeal emotionally. And so it's something that you watch in awe, and it's genuinely good storytelling and somehow manages to escape. I wonder if Kathleen Kennedy ever even watched the original series or the original movie. Did she ever even watch it? Because
she probably sat in an early screening of it and was just there to take notes on like continuity
and
issues.
pass out coffee probably.
Exactly. That's actually, you know what? When she rose in the ranks, when she really started to make those credits and stuff like that, she was probably the person who collected everyone else's coffee order and then got to go tell a new intern to go get it for them. She knew she'd really made it when she got to include her own coffee order on that list.
She was so proud of herself.
She had a picture of it and everything.
I want to inspire other women to do the same thing I'm doing.
One day I'll be an inspiration for women. I'll be so inspiring because I will take all of their jobs and make sure no one else can have them, so everyone will know that I am the best woman, because that's totally how empowerment works, right? Someone tell me I'm doing this right.
I love Rogue Panda. I just logged on. The first thing I heard was willing to swallow it. Sorry. All right, I've had my rants. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody in the chat, but don't. I'm sitting here having this conversation because I know Star Wars and I trust you. I've picked those movies apart more times than most, and so
I've written at least 2 research papers for school, and one of those was for college. So I also, this is something I haven't decided if I'm going to exploit this or not. So I got through a professor in college, Richard Chu's personal phone number. For those who aren't familiar, 4 different people were needed to get the finished cut, the final edit of the original Star Wars movie, and one of those people was Richard Chu. So I got to have an hour-long phone interview with him. It was incredible. I still have his number though, and if he hasn't changed it, part of me is like, should I just randomly call up Richard Chu one day and be like, hey, you gave me an interview once for a school project forever ago. Do you want to do another interview?
Oh, you should do it.
Possibly on my YouTube channel.
Do it.
Yes, I should.
Defenders of the faith. If Mary's done ranting, I'm out. Don't worry. I have some things to rant about. Don't worry.
Yes. Yes, so we're done with this article here. So, I mean, it does mention her talking about Deborah Chow, doing a phenomenal job with, the limited series, Kenobi series. Yeah, so she does praise Chow. And you know what? My take with The Mandalorian, I think Deborah's, episode was the best.
Yeah, I would agree.
Which one was hers?
It was, shit, I should look it up.
I can pull it up quickly.
I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it either.
I can pull it up. I know the
See if I can
Wikipedia of all the
find that.
directors.
See if I can find the name of it.
If you go to I'm going to do it now. If you go to the Mandalorian Wikipedia, it has all the episodes and their directors listed. I know.
Yeah.
I looked at this just the other day. Episodes. Here we go. Let's.
Why
see.
is Better Call Saul? This is Better Saul Calls on her freaking IMDb here.
Oh, she did the second to last one as well as she did the third one and the seventh one.
Okay,
the Sin and the Reckoning, yeah, and I was fond of the Reckoning. I thought that was great.
The Sin was a great episode. That was actually one of my favorite ones, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great episode. That has all the flying Mandalorians at the end and shit like that. And I actually thought the Reckoning was way stronger than Redemption. I thought the penultimate episode was much, much stronger than the final episode.
The Sin had all of that freaking epic around the corner, shoot 'em up, bang bang stuff, right?
Oh, the violence it was fantastic.
Action I enjoyed so much. I really enjoyed the action in that one.
And women did the action better than the men.
I know. It was great. It was so good. Let's go ahead and get to some of these super chats here.
Okay.
We're going to pass these around, Jessi, so you're welcome to join in. They're in the private chat here.
Yeah.
Back and forth. So McKinney for $5 says she discovered books, so KK is learning how to read. That's a step in the right direction. Thank you so much, McKinney. I appreciate the super chat there.
We were deliberating on whether or not she's actually reading. So
yeah, it could have been audiobooks.
Maybe she spilled her coffee, on one of them, and she's like, "Wait, who did this? Oh, this is from George's era." I'm sorry, I just can't get over this BS from her. I can't.
It's pretty grating.
Yes. All right. So Fat Steven Seagal beat up Brian Johnson. Canadian $2. Thank you so much for joining us. Kennedy doesn't read. She only does pop-up books.
Hey, don't be knocking on pop-up books.
That was a great, regardless of how you feel about the Trump family. Weekend Update they have the two guys in their cast that play Donald Jr. and Eric Trump. And their whole running gag is that Don Jr. is the mastermind and Eric Trump is basically retarded. And she keeps, putting his foot in his mouth on this interview. So Don Jr. is trying to give him a book to read, and he opens and it's a pop-up book and he gets scared.
Oh my God.
I like that. Christy Critters sends in the tour. Thank you, Christy Critters. KK figured out how toast works. Well, I hope she's a cat just shitting her toast.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to do that. It pops up like the pop-up book and she gets scared.
I'm picturing KK with that. She's like, what is the... Oh my God, that would be great. I was like, what is this? Oh my God. How do I... Oh my God, I might need to make this sketch this week. Kathleen Kennedy learning how to read.
There we go.
Hilarious.
Adam Woodford for $5 says, how about endless clones of Roundhead Johnson being thrown into the pit? Somewhere in the mix is the original Ryan. I guess that would be better. No. I want to avoid any acknowledgement that man exists as much as humanly possible. Can't we just walk away from this, please?
I want to give him Wolverine's X-Men power, mutant power. And then I want to throw him into the Sarlacc pit. Be alive and conscious as he's slowly digested over the period of 1,000 years.
Okay. So he's alive when he comes out the other end.
Wherever that may be. That pit full of bones down and then that's the whole kicker, right? Is that he's in this deep in the earth, in the little bone depository or whatever. I'm sure the Sarlacc probably digests bones, so wherever his asshole leads to. And then he's got to dig his way either out or he's got to crawl back through the Sarlacc somehow.
Ooh.
I'd watch that movie. Only if it was a snuff film and Ryan Johnson was actually in it. Oh.
Oh my God. So we have Terminus with the $5 super chat. I said it before on 2 other streams, and I'll say it again. KK discovering books is like a morbid, obese man discovering his dong after using an extra rating.
It doesn't do much good, does it? Too little, too late. John Early. Thank you for the $1 super chat, John Early. Appreciate it. No message. Well, it's $1, but thank you. Appreciate it.
You can read the next one if you want to. Jessi.
Okay. Hooray. Nikki D, thank you for the $5 super chat. Do you think Star Wars' new age female audience will be as loyal as the OG fans moving forward? Let me think about that. No, obviously not.
Women.
It's oh god. The thing is that nobody with any intelligence or substance likes this new Star Wars. And the people who are being suckered into it are just going to be suckered into the next thing when they're told to like it. Or 10 years from now, when this new age version of feminism isn't cool anymore, and the newest version is out that says the best way to be a strong woman is to just submit to your husband all the time, because I'm sure that's where we're heading as a society, is just turning everything back on its effing head. Those women will just go along and like that when that comes along, and not like your Disney Star Wars anymore.
Or by that point, it'll be completely irrelevant because they will have completely murdered it, and no one will care anymore, because no one will even make the comment, oh, the new Star Wars is out, we're so excited because it's a thing we're supposed to like. No, it will have been completely murdered by then.
It'll be a joke. It'll be a handful of crazy diehards who are Kathleen Kennedy disciples will go see it. It'll be like the Twilight movies. The rest of us will just point and laugh.
Yeah, it'll be like the next Transformers movie, only it won't make as much money.
Exactly. And that's what they're gonna see. I mean, it's just a Star Wars movie is just gonna become that, a joke.
God have mercy. All right, so Diego Flores for $5 says, Frank, opinions on KK lying about the treatments. Frank? Well, I'm not sure if you're just telling us to be frank. So I mean, obviously we're all pretty pissed off about it. We feel as though, I mean, we were lied to too, right? So not just like George Lucas himself getting lied to that they were going to use it. No, that we were lied to too, because we were told, oh, there's nothing for us to work with here. She's a pit of endless lies. She is nothing but a liar. There's nothing that comes out of Kathleen Kennedy's mouth that I believe.
Do you guys feel like, in a way, we are avenging Lucas for all the crap he took during the prequel era and all the crap he got? Do you feel like, in a way, us out here fighting the good fight for him while he's off in Chicago happily being a stay-at-home dad with his 3-year-old? Is this like his vengeance or something, his vindication?
Oh, I'm sure he's thrilled, actually. Well, and he's probably amused a little bit. Like, I imagine he's still a little bitter over the stuff that went down with the prequels, right?
Yeah.
And so I imagine he's probably sitting there, probably essentially saying, let them fight, right?
Oh, probably. I think true vindication for him would be if he could get a list of names of every single person that used to publicly decry the prequels or send him hate mail or anything like that, and now is also bitching about the sequels and how much better it was with Lucas. I think he should get a list of all of their names so he can publicly shame them.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be. Holy crap.
Like Scott Mendelsohn, the two talking son of a bitch.
I would love to have been on the like a fly on the wall when him and Mark Hamill were talking privately, because you remember that statement where Mark Hamill and me and George were talking, but I can't really disclose what we were saying.
Oh God, it was just a fucking shit fest.
Yes, I wish it was like a fly on the wall or something like that. Just listening to that, holy crap!
I was in the bathroom doing coke, and someone told me I had to come out here. That fat kid.
Oh, Frank, yes. Fat Steven Seagal, I believe. No, Diego Flores wanted your opinions on KK lying about the script treatments.
Y'all are surprised she's lying. She's nothing but a fucking. That's all she does is lie. I'm a producer. I make movies. You don't do shit. You get coffee. I make Congo at least. What have you done, woman? Nothing. You ruined the fucking Star Wars and Jurassic. I had to come in and fix Jurassic Park. Remember what she did to part 3? Fucking talking raptors and shit. Yeah. Who made Jurassic World with the big thing coming in and eating that bitch? Me. That's right.
Oh my God, I just said, Alan, go through my head.
Thank you. Well,
all right. So
appreciate you.
All right, Fat Steven Seagal beats up Ryan Johnson, Canadian $2. This one time at band camp, I sat on my cheeseburger.
At least you didn't shove a flute up your pussy.
Just blow it.
Just saying. I mean,
This is why we don't.
oh god. Okay, so where are we? Terminus.
I take that back. She produced our children, but hell, I even had to co-produce those two.
Nah, Frank, you're true god amongst men. Terminus. Thank you for $5. Says, I wish KK stopped caring about identity politics. I assume caring about identity politics, or caring, or we're just. I see what you did there. You went for a caring.
Yes.
I see what you did there. So stop.
Yes.
KK stop caring about identity politics and start genuinely caring about us true fans, as her political stances are none of our business. I have a good point too, because that's the whole thing. It's like, you know, movie people in the movie industry, actors, producers, etc., are people too. They're entitled to their political opinions. They're entitled to go tweet up a storm about them just as much as anyone else is. And we are also entitled to not give a shit. So please keep them out of my Star Wars. Thank you. If you are a political filmmaker, great, go make political films. If your interest in filmmaking is about telling stories about civil rights and the cutting edge of social society, go tell those stories. But and that's. You can do them in fantasy. You can do them in sci-fi. You can do them in pretty much any backdrop you want, except for someone else's IP that isn't and never was about that. You don't look at something and go, this is a fairy tale. This is as universal as it gets in terms of storytelling and themes. Let's take it and make it super topical. Let's take it and make it all about the zeitgeist of today so that 10 years from now, it won't resonate with anyone. And people who are too old to be tapped in to the zeitgeist of today won't like it either. It's like, what were you thinking? Why? Where? There clearly you weren't. That's the whole point. There was no thought. There was no understanding, wisdom, foresight, any of that. None of that went into any of this.
Word.
I
know that word.
Crispy Critters for $2 says she had a few creative boners in her body.
Probably. I mean, look, how else did she get where she is? Maybe it's too bad that those boners didn't jizz creativity, because then maybe she would have received it a little bit. I don't know.
Oh, shit balls, that was great.
Zalcor, $5 super chat. Okay, I need to see a stream with Jessi and Dubcock just ranting on Star Wars and Star Trek.
Well, funny you should mention that. I had another listener come to me on one of my streams last week saying they would really love to see me stream with Doomcock, and say that they've actually been harassing Doomcock in his chat about it. He said he'd be interested in streaming. So I did message him. He did say he's down, and I've reached out with him with some options. He has not gotten back to me yet. So if you do want to see a Jessi Doomcock stream, if that's something that you guys would enjoy, keep bothering Doomcock. Keep letting him know that you guys want to see it, because we've reached out. We've made that connection, made that bridge. Obviously, we know who each other is. You know, we've both been around for quite a while now. We have never actually done, a stream where one of us was featured on the other's channel. So now's about the time. And if you want to see that, just keep telling Doomcock, because I have listened, I have heard. So just keep hounding him and we'll make it happen.
There you go, you guys. Awesome. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
All right. Jessi.
Oh, right. My turn. Nikki D, thank you for the super chat. Can Star Wars ever reach the prolific heights that the MCU has enjoyed under the current Lucasfilm regime? No. No. Can't do it. A few things can reach those MCU heights. The MCU had several things going for it. One was a plethora of source material, and unlike Star Wars source material, where everything's sort of loosely tied in on a universe, you had an opportunity to build towards this multi-movie, 20-plus movie, decade-long thing, because you had the nature of comic book storylines that are all long and intertwined, and it wasn't that hard to condense a plot here and move this around here. So you had that, but you had that long game from the beginning. We already saw the same concept fall apart with DC because that long game vision wasn't there. This current regime can't see past the first movie. They made a trilogy that they knew they were making
without a freaking plan.
Yeah. Oh my god.
No idea where the fucking story was going to end when they made the first movie. Most of the time, you hear when we know all of the movies are getting made, they just go out and shoot it all. Right? They shot Infinity War and Endgame back to back. They're shooting John Wick 4 and 5 right now because they already know the people are going to want a fifth one. They're doing these, or was it 5 and 6 they're shooting back to back, and that 4 is already done or something, some shit, like whatever it is. They know the people want it. They know where they're going with it. They know, okay, when we finish this John Wick, the story's not done. People are going to want the rest of that story. We're ready for the next one. We're giving to them no matter what. Lord of the Rings, we're making all 3 of these. We don't care if it bankrupts us. Shoot them back to back. Most franchises where they really care about telling the story, they do that. They're like, we're invested. We're in it for the long haul. It blows my mind that they didn't even sit down with Star Wars and write one complete start to finish 7 to 9 script. It
was handed to them, but they just tossed it out.
So no, I don't think that this current regime has the intelligence, the ability to juggle that many balls, or the foresight to build a multi-character, multi-franchise universe that ties everybody together in a satisfactory way.
Which, when you think about it, is really strange and bizarre, because Kevin Feige's sitting right there, right? It's not like you can't call him over and ask him about, hey, what did you do here? How do we do this? Because I think it's perfectly possible to have a long-term goal, right? Within Star Wars. I think it's absolutely possible for you to pull that off. You just have a little bit more groundwork that you need to do. You have some more foundation that you'll need to lay for your damn self. But that doesn't mean it can't be done. And it doesn't mean you don't have the tools and hell, the resources, the people who have literally done this before, right? And Kevin Feige's a huge Star Wars fan. Not that I think that his efforts should be divided or whatever, but there are plenty of things that you could have done to make the
real.
At least gotten through 3 fucking movies.
The MCU is not all that demanding on his time anymore.
Speaking of juggling balls, can we get to the Batman? There's so many.
God, Jesus, Batman, you're so needy.
I know I am, but I fight for the rights of the people of Gotham.
Well, fuck you, this ain't Gotham, bitch, but well.
What, hey? Shit. I took a wrong turn somewhere.
Batman, technically, someone should tell Batman that because he's a vigilante, he doesn't actually have a jurisdiction and can fight for whoever, wherever.
It's true.
Why are you making your own point for me? That's weird.
Batman, this may come as a shock to you. People other than you can think thoughts.
Are you a lawyer? Are you like Harvey? What?
I'm actually an evil mastermind, Batman. You'll never catch me.
I knew it.
She's a dictator who successfully took over the world. I know. I saw it happen on Shenanigans.
I did. It's true. It happened with my excellent rotating cast of number 2s. Number 2 is a lot better. He's a lot better in bed.
Crane
I got no idea what you're saying right now.
Bye. Crane for $2 says Mega Jetty 1 here. I made a Cobra Kai free reaction video.
Oh, nice. Oh, Crane must be his new chest. So Mega Jetty is his main thing. Yeah. And then he's got his Terminator lore channel. This is his Cobra Kai / Karate Kid lore channel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I knew he had a couple of channels. So thank you for the super chat, Mega Jetty. We appreciate it so much.
We do.
Yeah. And we did read Adam Wolford. Do you want to read it? Should I read it again or should I skip?
Did we read that one already?
I don't think we
did. I thought we did, but okay, then let's just.
It might have been highlighted, but I don't remember reading it.
Yeah. Adam Wolford at $10. George Lucas built Star Wars Empire all out of scrap metal and no-name actors, all from a junkyard. You have a well-made factories and warehouses. You still failed. So yeah, so we have corporate versus independent at the time.
And independent has more heart, it has more creativity, it has more imagination. How many times have we seen that? The original Star Wars, again, I go back to Lord of the Rings is a favorite one of mine. Very, no meddling studio in that one, just Peter Jackson left to actualize a vision. Very few name actors in that movie either, and not in your not really your lead roles. And when people do that, that's when they're making a film for the sake of telling the best story.
Exactly. And that's what we got of George. The heart is not there no more because George is not there.
Exactly. And it just doesn't mean anything to these people. We have Terminus S, thank you for $2. KK is the personification of Botoxic femininity. That's why she has that grimace on her face all the time. It's frozen there. She realized she didn't want to become like Brie Larson. Everyone criticized her for never smiling. So when she went in for her Botox, she was like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to hold this. Just do it right like that. And everyone will think I'm happy all the time.
She does smile. It's just scary as fuck.
It looks like she wants to like chomp on your liver.
I hear you have extra ones of them. I'm just gonna go sell them on the black market. Apparently, I don't remember where I heard this, but somebody said you sell or you donate one liver, and everybody thinks you're a great person. Donate 6, and suddenly you're a fucking weirdo.
That's great. I might steal that and throw that on Twitter at some point.
Terminus for $5 says, Frank Marshall, why don't you cast your wife as one of the apes in Congo 2? KK looks like an orangutan, for crying out loud.
Oh, Lord.
Hey. Those are very expensive apes. I ain't spending that kind of money on her fucking face. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you want
Jesus
pretty
Christ.
apes.
That's right.
You want the kind of apes that Harambe would get hard for.
That
Bless
makes
him.
Amy sad. Amy's sad.
May Harambe rest in peace.
Oh, Lord. Dick's out for Harambe.
Dick's out for Harambe. Yeah. Oh my God. Can everyone please tweet that right now or just retweet me because I'm tweeting out hashtag Dick's out for Harambe. That's happening. Y'all can do what you want, but
I'm retweeting it.
Hashtag Dick's out. Well, I don't want capital S. I want to go Dick's out. Come on. What are we? Was it amateur hour here? Dick's out for Harambe. Weirdly enough, no one has used this hashtag before. Strange. Let's see. Can I get a GIF of Harambe?
You're a trendsetter. Yeah.
That would be what's up. All right, show me Harambe. Well, I've got King Kong. That's not Harambe. There's a close-up of a monkey that could be Harambe. There's a really interesting Harambe Never Forget hand-drawn thing.
You should use that one of the girls spanking the monkey.
Let's see. We don't spank the monkey live on air. That's inappropriate. Which one do I want to use this? Very
According to
charming?
you, as long as we don't do it in the first 30 seconds, we're cool.
Yeah. Ooh, hey, there's one of Harambe flying with a weird angel
No,
in
I'm
a
kidding.
bikini. I don't know what that's supposed to be.
We need to get to Batman talk here pretty soon.
We are. We do.
Okay.
We've already been going for like...
Priorities first.
Okay. Hold on, guys. I need your approval. I think I got it. There's a GIF of Harambe's head on MC Hammer's body, and it says "Stop Harambe Time." I think that's.
Yeah,
I know. I feel like it conveys everything I want, that I will never forget, and that I'm very respectful of Harambe and his legacy. Right?
Yes.
Maybe.
Says it all.
I'm not going to get into this one.
So if you'd like to retweet, Dick's After Harambe is now up on my Twitter. My Twitter.
Oh, right. It's Twitter.
You're welcome, world.
Hold on. After this, I'm Mary Mayhem. And I approve this message.
Yes, Mary stamp of approval. Freaking love it. Awesome.
All right. We got a few. Well, I'm gonna read this article because it's fucking stupid.
We did have one more super chat, by the way. I don't know if you wanted to do it. Since we only have one last one in there.
I didn't see it in the private chat.
It just came up in the private chat. It's from Terminus S. It was for Frank again.
Oh, we read that.
We did?
Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
Oh, you must have been reading that while I was tweeting about Harambe. My bad.
Yes.
Sorry. I got really distracted
It's
by
literally how we got onto the topic of Harambe.
Obviously. No shit. Yes. I remember this now. I remember this. I just got really excited by Harambe and then I forgot. Okay. My bad.
She made Amy sad.
Sorry, Frank.
You don't make the monkey out of Kathleen Kennedy.
Right.
I hate my fucking wife and I hate my life.
I don't blame you, sir.
Congo, Blu-ray, $9.99.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Tom?
Everything.
All right. So, for those of you who don't know, freaking there was a big old thing. The DC Fandom happened over the weekend. And they have a whole bunch of shit dropped. Wonder Woman 84 trailer dropped. Justice League Snyder Cut trailer dropped. Now I am going to make sure that I'm very upfront before I get into this. I care nothing for the Snyder Cut. I am not a Snyderite. I'm not out here advocating.
But you like Batman, right?
I love Batman.
Yes, that's right. Space Dog.
Allow me to show you how much I love Batman. Hey Siri. What's my name?
You're Mary, but since we're friends, I get to call you Batman.
Yes. Okay.
Hey, I got issues with that.
My phone calls me George of the Jungle, so.
So I do love Batman. I love Superman. I loved Justice League, the animated series, growing up. I was a big fan of all those shows. So I'm not a comic book nerd in that regard, but I did have problems with Zack Snyder's vision. That being said, I do support the Snyder Cut in that I think it's important to listen to fans. So, however, this is fucking stupid, and I'll get into why I'm going to piggyback why this is fucking relevant, because Scott Mendelson's a fucking idiot, because he said some similar shit. So this is a Lainey Gossip article, but she's essentially speaking for quite a few of the critics who are out there running around flapping their gums about this shit. Whoa, Nelly! That's what I get for turning my ringer back on. So on Saturday, Warner Brothers hosted an online event called DC Fandom, which is the 2020 virtual event stand-in for Comic-Con. It was okay. Watching Zoom calls is not fun, but it was well-produced 24-hour rollout of constant new footage / concept art headlines for Warner Brothers. They've always been good at producing fan events and creating churn for their titles. Whether their movies live up to the hype is another matter entirely. A marquee piece of the fandom was the first trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League Mulligan, aka the Snyder Cut. It looks pretty much exactly like Justice League. Go fuck yourself. And by pretty much exactly like, I mean, it looks like the exact same movie we've already seen, just with a return to Snyder's signature drained color palette and broody tone. Much of this footage has appeared in previous Justice League trailers. The shot of Aquaman walking onto the seawall with a bottle of alcohol is from the 2016 Comic-Con first look at Justice League, before Snyder had to leave the project. The shot of the Flash going through the windows is from 1 year later at the 2017 Comic-Con, when Joss Whedon had taken over the project. The shot of Wonder Woman smiling at a schoolgirl looks like unused footage from the bank robbery scene from the beginning of the movie. Snyder has said he won't be using any of Whedon's reshot material in the Snyder Cut. But all this proves is that the movie he set out to make and the movie we saw are not substantially different movies. It's going to be the same story we already saw and no one liked, just darker and grittier. That's what this whole argument has always been about, after all. The Snyder Bro objection to Justice League was never that it is a bad movie with a lame plot and unearned self-importance, which it is. The objection was always that Whedon made it too bright and funny, too much like a Marvel movie, which to those fans who only understand serious is if every character is from the before part of an antidepressant commercial is the ultimate insult. Never mind that Snyder's dour tone had, after 2 movies, driven audiences away, and the studio took steps to save what they saw as a doomed picture. Remember that Whedon was brought on for rewrites before Snyder had to leave the project. To a certain segment of DC fans, if a superhero movie is the least bit enjoyable, it is bad. Well, those fans are getting their dark, depressing version of Justice League, which I genuinely hope makes them happy. I don't think it will, because I don't think anything will. But there's hope.
That was my favorite part. So
but
true.
here's hoping we can be done with this once the Snyder Cut is finally released.
Amen. Amen. I would just like to second everything that writer said, pretty much.
Well, here's my problem with what she said. And look, I agree with her on the front of the Snyder Cut. Snyder's general vision is dark, muddy, depressing, and I don't like it. I don't fucking like it.
I gotta say, Joss Whedon's comedy, I mean, for all that he might be a bastard, is the only thing that made that movie watchable. So
I don't think this is going to be the same movie, because I think that you can essentially change a movie. God, you can change anything just by switching the music, right?
Mhm.
You can literally, I was telling this to Laura earlier, you can literally take a scary scene from a movie, and if you remove the creepy like building swell of music and turn it into a bunch of bonks and boinks and suddenly it's funny, right?
For sure. Well, I was, weirdly enough, in relation to the Snyder Cut, I was kind of talking about that in relation to another element of this that people are talking about, which is the music, specifically in the trailer that he chooses, Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. And his, well, it was playing at this time in my life, and therefore it's, dude, we know you like it. You put it in Watchmen already. All right, don't try to pull some sob story about your dead daughter. But it's
I don't like it either. Yeah.
Yeah. And the whole thing is, like you said, though, yeah, it's absolutely, I do think tonally it'll be very, very different. So I was thinking about that, how inappropriate that song felt in that moment. I was actually thinking about a different song that was inappropriate in a different trailer, but also in the DC universe, because they used Nirvana's Something in the Way in the Batman trailer, and that bothers me, but I'm going to make a whole video on that, so stay tuned. And I was talking about that. I was like, man, you wouldn't take Dylan's Blowing in the Wind, which was an anti-war song, and put it on a war trailer. And I'm like, and put it unironically on a war trailer. And I'm like, there's really no way to put it unironically on a trailer. And I thought about that, like, man, what a different movie you're making if you make a war movie trailer with like the brass and bravado and, oh my God, the adventurous sounding music, versus if you did one with Dylan's Blowing in the Wind. Like, that's a completely different movie, isn't it?
Obviously, this movie is going to have a lot of the same beats, right? So you're building something from the same essential scrap metal that you had before, right? You're using the same scaffolding, and you're using the same outline for this, right? That does not mean you're getting the same movie. First of all, this person is completely ignoring that we're getting an extra 2 hours of footage. All right, we're getting an extra 2 freaking hours. And one of the biggest problems that I had with the Justice League movie originally was that you dropped in freaking Cyborg, the Flash, and Aquaman out of freaking nowhere, right? You have no backstory for these characters. Now, obviously, we have Aquaman's story now. We have something to kind of ease him in, and we're more familiar with him at this point. But Cyborg and Flash, we why are they even fucking here? Why are they here? I have no concept of why Flash is even on board with any of this, except that he's some idealistic kid. It's not a good representation of Flash, really. But that being set aside, I've never understood why Flash was even involved in any of this, or why Cyborg, for that. He was so hesitant. What the hell did you do to even change his mind? Nothing that I could see. There's backstory involved here, and I'm not a Snyderite. I'm not on board. I didn't like the freaking trailer. I thought it was stupid. I understand the context for that song. I do understand that the reason that song is there is because it is a sort of ode to the tragedy that he went through during this specific time of his life in regards to his daughter, and that this is a sort of a long time coming for him. And so I understand that, but I also think that it's important to keep your personal business out of movies, right? A DC fan, and I need you to not insert yourself into this product here like that. So that's me personally, but I do understand that this is a very specific scenario. So I'm of 2 minds on this. I'm happy that Snyderites are getting their cut, their Snyder cut. I'm happy that they're attempting to listen to fans. I hope it makes them money. What I really don't want is Zack Snyder stepping back in and bringing in his muddy, dark, Superman shit. That's not fucking Batman bullshit into all of this. I really don't want that. But I'm happy if we get the cut and everybody maybe shuts up and okay, you got it, go away. Like, that's what I'm hoping. But I did share something down in the bottom, Tom, if you want to grab that. The reason I have a problem with their takes on this is because I think this is definitively not going to be the same movie, right? This is definitely not going to be the exact same movie. Let's see if I can close in on this here. So Scott Mendelsohn's a twat.
Yes. The dude that keeps on giving, right?
Yes, Jeff's favorite writer, I believe.
They just can't be happy. You cannot make these asshats happy. So the trailer for the Snyder Cut of Justice League looks like the same movie. Lots of deleted scenes from the marketing campaign, but otherwise it looks like alternate takes of existing scenes. Yes, we know.
What did you expect? It is the same movie. That's all that they have are deleted footage and alternate takes. That's all they're working with. They're not doing reshoots. They put that out there right from the beginning. The money they're putting into it is all post-production, adding more CGI, changing some elements around there. They're not getting actors. Maybe actors are coming to the studios to do additional ADR, but they're not shooting new scenes and writing new parts of the script and shit like that. Like, what do you expect you were going to see? You're not going to see the Snyder Cut in a trailer for the Snyder Cut. You were going to see Justice League footage in different orders with maybe a couple things you haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Grow up.
It seems like a stupid ass statement to make. It seems like a dig, and it was a dig, right? It was a dig. Oh, we're just getting the same movie. What's the point?
It's a hole for attention as usual.
It's of course it's going to hit a lot of the same beats, and of course it's going to be the same general telling, right? Yeah. But what Snyder fans, and I do understand what Zack Snyder fans are expecting here is a different cast, a different tone to it. They are expecting the darker and the grittier. They're expecting there to be more backstory given to these characters. They're hoping that this will ultimately result in something more cohesive, that at least lines up with what you've gotten before, because a lot of them liked what they got before, even though I and many others did not, right? And so they're not hurting you, Scott Mendelson. They're not hurting you. Are they annoying at times? Fucking yeah, they're annoying. Lethal won't shut the fuck up. But Jesus. But he's not bothering you, okay? If you don't like it, mute him. It's fine. Okay. They're not hurting you. Relax, calm down. So he puts this bullshit out here. It's going to be the same movie. Well, look, some things are true and not true at the same time. Of course, it's going to be quote unquote the same movie. That doesn't mean you're going to get the same movie, right? Of course. And so that's I think the differentiation that needs to be made here. And for Scott Mendelson to not understand that is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous for him to have this take on it. So Zack Snyder dug back at him.
Yeah, I love that he just caught him right in his own freaking web of bullshit.
So you said you enjoyed the theatrical cut of Justice League like you enjoy your Saturday morning cartoons. Well, this is made for grown-ups, so you're not in the demographic.
Such a great burn. Such a solid effing burn.
What I need right now, I wish you had this, Tom, was the clip of, it wasn't made for you.
All I got is I see people.
I see people.
I just see people, and I just play people. I didn't play Captain Marvel because I wanted to be a hero. I just wanted to be a person.
And I'm not a person in my regular life. That's something I always take umbrage to as an actor myself. Thank you very much. Is whenever you see a commercial that says real people, not actors, I'm like, but I'm a real person.
Yeah, right.
My name is Anakin.
I pooped 45 minutes ago.
that was more human can you get? I took my dick out for Harambe, guys.
So share it, retweet it.
Yeah, thank you for the retweet so far. By the way, for those 5 of you who've retweeted. Andrew
was like, what?
Yeah.
I'll explain later too.
I'm debating on anybody who's going to think if that's racist first, and then I will.
Is that for Harambe? Why would it be racist to remember Harambe?
I don't know.
Besides, we were comparing.
No. I'm just talking about him on MC Hammer's body. The rest of it is fine.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
But
oh shit! Fucking hey, Tom. Why?
It's because I got to think about that shit constantly.
Tom,
Sorry, it's not your guys' fault.
Hold on. Let's add Jeff's half black. Let's consult Jeff. Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff, let us know.
You see the tweet I sent you?
I retweeted.
Is it racist?
He retweeted it. Never mind.
Is this racist?
Jeff says no.
I was there.
He said he already retweeted it. That's all I needed.
And Jeff's from Cincinnati too, so he knows Harambe better than any of us. You know,
Okay.
you know,
I didn't need that part, but sure.
But I just said fuck it.
so you've endorsed Harambe, is what you're saying.
I'm holding a candle for him.
There you go. Plus,
He's your candle on the water. Gotcha.
again, Jeff, probably met Harambe. He can tell you if Harambe may have been black. You never know. So.
I mean, you
We gotta be careful.
How did he identify? Which pronouns?
identified as
Which pronouns did he prefer?
Jesus Christ.
Basically, if he whipped his dick out, he liked you. That's why we have our dicks out for
I'm
Harambe.
not drunk, woman. I can't do this.
Oh goodness.
Shit, where's my vodka?
Take a shot and then you'll be fine.
So he says also that this was the kicker. So as epic as that, well, this is made for grown-ups, so you're not in the demographic comment was. This was the zinger right here. So at the time, keep in mind the trailer hadn't officially dropped yet, right? Yeah. Also, cool of you to comment on a leaked teaser.
Double burn.
Mm-hmm. He's roasted and toasted and tossed.
You not only you were a child, but you were an asshole child.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yo.
That is the best part right there. And I kind of hope they fry him for it.
Dude, this made me like Zack Snyder so much. I'm with you, Mary. I couldn't give a rat's ass about the Snyder Cut. I'm not into the Snyder Vision. I have like some of the things. I'm a real big fan of the 300. I actually really like Sucker Punch. One of his few original IPs, and I'm glad fans are getting the Snyder Cut. I don't care about it that much. I'll probably watch it just because. But this tweet right here, Zack Snyder now has my endorsement as a human being.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sure does.
I'm behind him on this shit because look, for however I feel about his take on the whole DCEU and how he presents, look, that's not Superman, right? That's just not fucking Superman. But that's whatever. That's fine. He's look, there are lots of different iterations of Superman. Like God knows Injustice, that's not fucking Superman, right? So fine, and that's just an amazing series. So fine, I can absolutely appreciate a different take on Superman, even if I don't necessarily care for it myself, right? But Zack Snyder as a person is sharp as a tack, and I love this shit, and I love that he just slams him here, right? Because Zack Snyder's not fucking hurting you, Scott Mendelson. He's not hurting you. What exactly is up your crawl? What is your problem, dude?
And that's one of the things I actually like so much about the Snyder Cut is it's not hurting anyone. It's not an insult to the people who like the theatrical release. It's not a dig at any of those people or any of that. I mean, we're hearing all this shit about Joss Whedon now, but before all that crap started coming out, there wasn't any animosity. In the Snyder, I thought was a little bit petty about some of the Joss Whedon stuff, but outside of that, there's no bad blood between the studio or any of these creatives. There's no reason why we can't have both. Why we're not going to have both of these cuts that exists. Beautifully in tandem with each other, in harmony with each other. And I think that's why I always think it's so shitty when you have people like Scott Mendelson trying to stir up controversy around something because they're so desperate for the clicks and the views and people caring about it. When the reality is that there isn't controversy here. You know?
Well,
this is a nice thing that's happening.
This isn't Star Wars. Stop acting like we're not going to get another fucking Superman movie in the future, right?
Yeah,
it's not like there are no do-overs when it comes to Superman or any of these superheroes. How many freaking iterations have we had of Batman at this point? And so this isn't a slap in the face. I don't get indignant at Batman v Superman. I don't get indignant at Man of Steel because I know that before I'm dead there will probably be another freaking 5 versions of Superman out, right? Sure. And that's perfectly fine. I will find something in that mishmash that I like. This isn't a one-shot. I'm never going to get Carrie. I'm never going to get Luke, and I'm never going to get Han, Luke, and Leia on screen again, right? This isn't the same thing. This is one man's vision that I don't care for. I'm sure somewhere down the road I'll find something I enjoy, right? If nothing else, I can go back and watch Christopher Reeve, and that will be perfectly fine by me. He's not hurting you. So what is your fucking deal, Scott Mendelson? What is your fucking deal? I'm glad he roasted your ass, and I hope he continues to roast your ass. And you know what? I hope, and this is my genuine hope. I don't think it's likely.
Mm.
I hope when the Snyder Cut, I can't even say that with a straight face. I hope the Snyder Cut comes out and it's perfect. Sorry. I can't do that. I hope it is. I do. I hope it is everything.
All the problems. Every issue.
Dirty lenses and gray brown shit everywhere and whatever. Fine, but I hope that it makes a whole lot of money and a lot of people happy, right?
You know what I hope? I hope we just get to see the maximum number of Justice League members shirtless, except Ezra Miller.
Ooh, well, keeping comments to myself. I'm already in trouble for Harambe. Comments to myself.
Lucy, you got some explaining to do.
Yeah. Jason Momoa, yeah. Even the what's his face who plays a cyborg. Cyborg.
Can I get Wonder Woman shirtless?
Fine. Yeah, you know, I mean,
hand that to the guys and the women who enjoy that too. Might as well, right?
Yeah, we can't look. I want to be equal opportunity here. I don't want to be discriminating against any kind of gender, or sexual orientation. I like the men folk. I like the sexy abs and stuff like that. But each their own. Kitties are your thing.
You set me up for that. It's not fair.
And you took it. You just you had to take it. You're like, I want some boobies.
One of my greatest joys in life is finding those like setups for people that like take their brain down that naughty path and just forcing them, like breaking them, forcing them to like not actually respond because there's too much low-hanging fruit. There's just too much low-hanging fruit and you can't even pick. That's my superpower, actually. That's my superpower. I perfected that art.
Bullshit. One hot girl shirtless.
Yeah, tits for Mary. Hashtag tits for Mary. That should be the next hashtag. Tits for Mary.
Hashtag tits out for Mary.
For Mary.
There we go, everybody. Hashtag.
I'm gonna get
someone needs to make a GIF of Mary's head on MC Hammer's body.
There we
and then
go.
we need to ask Jeff if that's racist. And then-
Jeff, is that racist?
Would it be racist?
What?
Would it be racist if we put Mary Mayhem's head on MC Hammer's body?
Can Mary dance like MC Hammer?
With Harambe's wang.
Do you happen to own any parachute pants?
Mary, can you actually dance like that in real life?
Oh, fuck no.
No.
You shouldn't do it.
Then it's cultural appropriation and you can't. Okay.
I'm staying out.
Point of order, what if we put Mary's head on Harambe?
I mean, it's hurting Mary.
And then make Harambe dance like MC Hammer.
You can animate a girl like Hammer. I just want to watch.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank God we've got him here.
Thank God, our race legitimizer. I wonder if the ugly dance is still a thing. This just got me thinking about that. Yep, it is.
Oh, God.
It's still a thing. Guys, when this is all done, just do yourselves a favor and just go to the ugly dance. Just Google the ugly dance or go to theuglydance.com. And you're welcome. That's all.
Yes, I know that already. Oh my God.
I don't know what that is.
Well, now you do. And
got it. Now you do. Yes.
OG Star, how many hours did you waste on that when you first discovered it? Way back.
Oh, I love laughing at it. So
Oh, God, yeah. It's just
like a lot of but a lot of because I worked at a dance studio, so a lot of our students like made fun of it and you impersonated them. So it's good.
Quality. All right, there you go, guys. For those who don't know it, you now have homework and you won't regret it.
Yes.
It's the funnest assignment ever. OG can vouch for me.
So, all right. Well, yeah. So that being said, I think it's important to remember when it comes to this Snyder Cut thing. Are the Snyderites annoying as fuck sometimes? Yeah, okay, yeah, they are. But just remember, some of those people are your friends, and they're really excited, guys. They're really happy. Okay, so just let them play with their Play-Doh and leave them alone. It's fine. Okay. They'll convene over in their little corner and they'll all freak out for a little while and they're not hurting anything or anyone. And sure, if I don't like it, I wish Lethal would stop fucking yelling at me, but it's fine. they're not hurting anything, or they're not hurting anyone. Okay. And so I hope that they get everything that they want. And is this going to be the same movie? Yes, but it's not going to be the same movie, right?
Yes.
I think if nothing else, not to props to the Fandom Menace or whatever, but Ivan Ortega managed to do a great deal to The Last Jedi by cutting that up and altering that significantly for fans, right?
I actually disagree. I think that movie's still dog shit no matter how much love and attention it got. Sorry, Ivan.
It was like he turned Frankenstein. He dressed up Frankenstein in a nice outfit. That's all it was. It's Frankenstein dressed up in a nice outfit. That's all.
If he had had the wealth of extra footage to work.
For sure. That was just, there was only so much you could do without having, actual access.
But let's not pretend that it wasn't altered and that certain meaning wasn't impacted in places.
Oh yeah, I mean some very important things were altered and impacted drastically from the original, just with moving a few bits around and making a few snips here and there. And that's without a $30 million budget. So
yeah, absolutely. I think that they can take this same movie, because yes, it's still the same fucking movie, Scott Mendelson, but that doesn't mean it's the same fucking movie. And you should be intelligent enough to understand the nuance between those statements.
Sorry, and intelligent and Scott Mendelson are not words that go together in any universe.
Who let him in here?
Who gave that man a degree? Come on. Standards, people. If you wanted to be convinced that education is a joke, look at Scott Mendelson. I'm sure he has a degree. We have a degree in being smart from the School of Smart People. All right, Scotty, go watch your Saturday morning cartoons now.
I have a real desire to go comb his hair forward.
Oh my God.
It's true. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. That's an unnecessary personal looks dig. But God, he looks like he's gonna fucking rape your dog.
God. Holy crap.
Really bad when you look like you are going to take sexual advantage of an animal. That's a problem.
I knew a guy like that once.
Unfortunate. That's the run far away look. That's the I don't have red flags, I'm wearing them look.
I used to check on my dogs frequently when he would walk up and down the road, and I feel the urge to do that.
You can wait excited
when I see
my dog's tail.
All right, before I get like freaking slammed for libel, we should probably wrap this up.
Probably.
I apologize. So main takeaway here, guys, is if you want to watch the Snyder Cut, watch it. If you don't. No one's gonna think more or less of you for that. Either way, you're not a bad person.
Exactly.
So
we love you no matter whether or not you have good taste in movies. We love you anyway.
Yeah. I feel like whipping out my Mr. Rogers right now and being like, everyone's good at different things.
Some people are good at keeping their fucking mouths shut, Scott Mendelson.
You're special in your own way.
Some people still need to learn that skill.
We got a super chat here from Rafael Jimeno. I hope I said that correctly. It's a $10 super sticker. Is a pear flying in the air with a red cape.
I love Super Bear. Super Bear's the shit.
I love fruit. Fruit is awesome sauce, and we appreciate the super sticker, man. And love this, and love and appreciate all of the support that you guys give in this community. It is absolutely wonderful, and we could not be more grateful to you guys for it. So thank you so much. And we have another super chat here from Bikini90, which I didn't see in the private chat, but I'm going to throw it up here anyway. So Akini says, to be fair, Mary, this is the guy looking at this like a Saturday morning cartoon and had an article defending cuties over the weekend. So yeah, it's appropriately fitting. I'd heard that as well. Did you guys hear that?
Holy shit, that is disturbing.
I'm assuming this is going to be the new edgy thing to do, though, is to defend the movie and its great messaging against the exploitation of children, which is all well and good, but like you didn't need to cast you could have made the message that you're trying to get out there of like, oh, we're teaching these kids about these things before they even know what it means. You can tell that same message either a lot less graphically if you want to cast teenagers, or you can tell that message in a different way using 18 to play younger. so that you're not riding that line of, well, you're trying to make a movie drawing attention to the exploitation of children, but are you actually exploiting children in the process?
Absolutely. And look, even if all you're left with are the bare bones of the description that Netflix gave and the thumbnail for the movie, even if that's the only thing that you point out, that's still fucking enough. They exploited
In
these
some ways,
children.
maybe worse than the movie itself, which is what most people are going off of. It's like, watch the damn thing, and then that's one of the things that drives me crazy too. When something about this comes out, it's like, condemning the poster, yes. Asking serious questions about the thematic content, yes. Asking serious questions about whoever wrote that blurb, yes. Actually criticizing the movie when you don't actually know if it does the thing you claim it does, stupid. So I'm really frustrated by the outrage on this on both sides. Like the people rushing to defend this as like a great and important work of cinema, and likewise people tearing it down, saying this movie sucks. All the criticism about the poster, 100% valid. All the criticism, like the questions I asked, beyond the poster and the blurb, are you actually sending the message you're trying to send, or are you being exploitative? I just completely lost my train of thought. All that stuff. These are really good, important conversations. The stuff that drives me crazy, people who are like review bombing it one way or the other, or like screaming about it. Go fucking see it. And I'm always about that, no matter what. I'm about that. I don't ever review bomb things. That's why if you hear me bitching about a movie, Captain Marvel's gonna suck into this and that. What do? I go fucking see it. Does it suck to have to see some of these shitty movies? Sure. I'm not going to sit here and keep, running a commentary on something that I don't have the information for. That's one of the things I know about, which is that poster was messed up, was that the execution, I have a lot of questions about the execution of this movie using younger actresses, and that blurb was horrifying and describes a movie I don't want to see. So unless you've actually seen the goddamn movie, I don't want to hear more than about those things, if that makes sense, Well,
the initial reaction was so I actually did a stream on Wednesday over on my channel. Tom was there for that, where we were basing our discussion off of the description given at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Now that was, I think, reasonable. Now you can only work with the information that you're given that it's not out yet. So I think that given that point, and then they went and they changed everything. So now it's sort of up in the air that maybe it isn't the picture that was initially painted for us.
I don't think it really matters, even though the movie is about trying to teach girls that something like this may not be something she should get into or whatever. I think the point could have been made in another way. Like without putting girls in that age in that kind of a position. Because the other problem is over 650 girls were auditioned for this movie. So that's 650 some girls that were probably asked to sit there and twerk and all kinds of other things by
I can absolutely critique the mothers of these children who
exactly
in this movie. I have no problems critiquing a mother who puts her
and I don't have a problem with anybody making a movie about anything, but there's a point where we can make a movie about teenagers that are having too much sex and getting murdered and not actually have teenagers having sex and getting murdered.
That was my point. Exactly. You look at Mean Girls, Lindsay Lohan wasn't 12, wasn't 16. Rachel McAdams wasn't 16 in that fucking movie. You almost always in filmmaking, and I don't know how things are in France. Maybe they have very different ways that they look at children, child actors and children in, and children in cinema and stuff like that. Maybe it's viewed very differently over there. And sure, okay, I'd want to know more about the audition process. I know in America, when you have things like nudity on a film and whatnot, it's very sensitively handled during the audition process. So I would be curious to learn more about that, actually, to know, was it women only in the initial casting rounds? How much were they asked to do before being called back and things like that? Because a lot of also a big group thing like that. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll teach them like a number of less because they want to see how well they learn too. So they'll get like 20 girls in a room. They'll teach them a number, might not have anything super sexual in it, and they'll just sort of eliminate down to a smaller number.
And I hate to break it to everybody that the casting couch didn't begin or end with Weinstein, by the way.
Correct. Oh, 100% correct. Ask a lot of those questions. Now, again, given that as a female filmmaker making this film, I don't know who's involved in the casting process. The odds are maybe a little lower that was the case, but as someone pointed out in the chat, consent in France is 15. And some of those girls could be 15, young, late.
I guess they were between the ages of 11 and 14 from what I heard, but that's still
the actual cast members.
Yeah. The actual cast, the girls.
It's getting worse. I mean, why not? I mean, look, Game of Thrones, they were all supposed to be like really, really super young. And that was part of why when they made the show, they elected to age everyone up a little bit, was so they could cast 18 to play younger. I think, a couple of the kids weren't. Macy Williams, I don't think was 18 when the show started.
Yeah, but I haven't watched it all. But like people have told me, like they cut to where like there were certain scenes where like you can tell they were shot without the kid actually seeing what they were actually.
And the only time she's actually did a sex scene was after she turned 18.
Right. Well, somebody was like explaining to me like there was the one scene where the two siblings were fucking or something like that, and then the younger kid walks in. You can tell the way it was shot that they were not on the same set.
Of course.
Or they were shot at different times. I mean,
and that's very normal. I mean, the lot is done to protect children from these things because it's like, okay, what's a kid going to do? It was even controversial. You guys remember that? Like, it was a sketch or something of was it a Will Ferrell thing or something with the child landlord who like said all the swear words? And people were like up in arms about that, like, oh, you're letting a kid curse like that? There's a lot of concern given and care, at least in this country, to what we expose our children to in the course of those things. And I think I can remember when you said it. I mean, shame on the moms is exactly right. Shame on the moms to bring your child into this.
Well, and it's a far cry from learning a kid how to swear than it is to do something like twerking. But I brought up the example. I believe it was the kid on The Shining. Like his parents and Kubrick and all them were very careful to make sure that he was not involved in any of the real scary shit, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't even see the movie until he was an adult, I guess, too. But anyway, you were going to say something, Laura. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and as a dance mom and I've worked at a dance studio and stuff. Our dance studio, and this really puts a bad light on a lot of dance teachers who try their best to, give choreography and a dance experience per the children's age. And our director at the dance studio where I've worked at, and my daughters are part of the dance team. She's very careful on like what age for hip hop they will have any kind of like dance movement and stuff like that. Yeah, wearing like a bra top and booty shorts is somewhat normal for dance competitions and dance teams and stuff. But this movie here has a very different message than what we see in normal dance studios and stuff.
Right. Well, let's look at it. You're gonna say something, Jessi? I'm sorry.
I just looked up the this movie, the movie Cuties on Google. The top voted tags for it are gross, disturbing, creepy, unsettling, cringeworthy, terrifying, awkward, explicit, dark, and depressing.
See, there you go.
Wow. Yeah. So that's what people think about this.
I was just gonna say, like, as far as dancing, I mean, look at it this way. Like, okay, when kids used to dance at sock hops and shit back in the 50s and 60s and stuff, like early 60s, that used to be like considered like the devil's dancing, and it was simulating sex and stuff like that and all that kind of stuff. And I get it. By today's standards,
a little different. I think we can.
Yeah, by today's standards, that is nothing, right? Okay,
so literally is simulating sex, though. Like,
right, we get up to something like twerking. Like you're actually literally like there's no hiding. Like that was the point I was going to get to, is you're getting to a point where this dance was specifically made for one reason and one reason only.
Mm-hmm. Like I'm pretty sure twerking was invented because some guy was either using
by some stripper, probably.
Honestly, probably some dude watching his girlfriend bang him in the mirror and going like, "Hey, I like the way your booty bounce like that. Make your booty do that when you dance." Straight up, that is probably where twerking came from.
Well, that or a stripper, yeah, I'd imagine.
Look here. Let me. I don't know if everybody even knows exactly what it is that we're talking about here. So I'm gonna pull up this image here. Okay.
We got on a tangent.
I hope it's not the poster.
It's the poster.
All right, we're only going to show it for very few seconds because I'm not comfortable showing it more than that.
I think it's pretty reasonable to point at this and say there's only one reason to stick girls in those kinds of provocative, and yes, they are provocative positions.
The girl on the far right looks terrified, so there's that.
Mm-hmm. That is to induce sexual idealism. That's all there is to it. And so that was the point behind making that poster.
And I've seen a lot of people defending this like it's fucking Footloose. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of people like trying to, but like twerking is like a cultural thing, blah, blah, blah. And then a bunch of black people are like, the fuck it is.
No.
This is something that's not even like that old, folks. Come on now. Don't even try to pretend.
I don't know where it originates from, but my the first place I can trace it back to is Get Low, Lil Jon. Way before like twerking was a bigger thing that everyone was doing. in Get Low, Lil Jon does reference it in his great song. I just want you all to know that, in case you didn't.
So that was what, like the early 2000s, right?
Yeah,
so
it was
it's
like
not even 20 years old, maybe.
2000, 2001. And that's the whole thing. People defending it are stupid, because if they're defending it on that basis, or like it's Footloose, or like the kids these days, they don't understand then what the movie's about, because Footloose is about.
Well, that's what they're saying, is like, you guys don't understand that the movie, you're coming off like the people that are blah 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 this in the movie is actually about how this kind of thing is wrong and blah 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 blah. And it's like, well, then why would you make a movie about it? Why can't you pick something else?
That's like when Juno came out and everyone was like, oh my God, it's so cute and trendy. And I'm like, why would you make a movie glorifying teenage pregnancy?
Well, and I think it doesn't even help that I don't know if you've seen this, Jessi, or not. This comes right on the heels of their abortion comedy. Where like I'm like, I don't care where you stand on that subject.
Hold on.
Like, did you see the trailer for this? Oh yeah, there's a movie called, what's it, Unpregnant or I don't remember what the hell it's called. But the trailer makes it, and it is, I guess, a comedy. It's about this 17-year-old girl who goes on this road trip with a friend to get an abortion.
Yes. Holy shit. Yes.
And I'm like, I don't care what side you stand on this. This is not a subject to be made comedy about.
Exactly. That's all that you can like. You can agree with it or disagree with it, but it is serious. It is not like, I'm a comedian. I love joking about everything. Would I tell an abortion joke in a set? If it worked,
possibly, yeah. It's in a context, one thing, but
even that's like, I would need to make an abortion joke fly would take a lot of work. I make an effing comedy about it. That's because that's only, it's not funny.
You almost have to get absurdist with it at that point, like talking about like a man having an abortion or something like that. That's a little different than, no, this is Unpregnant. That's what it is called. Okay.
Yeah,
you'll have to check out that trailer. I figured if you hadn't heard about that one, you'll definitely find that one interesting, Jessi. So yeah, this is right off the heels of that one.
I don't like, the thing is, talking about issues, dealing with them, having hard conversations, or making difficult films, discussing them. Sure. Normalizing them, making them taking away the gravity of them. Because the only thing is, it's not just insulting to people on the pro-life side who, value that as a very serious, who look at something like that and like, oh, you made a comedy about murdering someone, but also people on the pro-choice side who understand, women who've gone through this, who understand that it is serious, it is traumatic, it is it's life-changing and not in a good way. Even if you're pro it, even if you're in favor of it being legal and whatnot, nobody in their right mind thinks that it's fun, funny, or cute. I don't understand why.
All right. Well, we got super off track.
Well, it is off track from what we were talking about originally. Yeah. So, was there any more super chats left, or?
I believe we got them all.
I think we got caught up.
I didn't see any more after McKinney's there.
I didn't either. So I think we're caught up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're all caught up on super.
And that's probably just as good a place as any to put a cap on it, unless there was anything else anybody had to say about Batman.
I hope that Snyder Cut's great, and I hope that Scott Mendelson gets slapped with some shit for freaking tweeting about
Scotty's a dumb shit. That's all.
Enough said, right?
I'm almost got to the point where I love Scotty just for how fucking unironic he is. I guess actually is the better word in this case.
He's the gift that keeps on giving. That's what it is.
Exactly. Like, I almost wonder what it would be like to live in a world without Scotty at this point.
Much less entertaining. That's for damn sure.
There would be so many high councils, Midnight's Edge After Darks, all of the ladies here's videos, Doomcock, and everybody else's videos would be so much more boring if it wasn't for Scott. So here, let's raise a glass to Scotty and his stupidity.
Hold on, I want everyone to take note. Tom tried to get me drunk.
That's a first, right? Because I'm usually the one telling you to lay off, right?
Let it be known.
That is very true. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give Scotty something. I'm going to give Scotty a maximum effort puppy.
Oh, look at that. She's so happy.
He tries so hard to be a douche.
That pupper needs sunglasses.
And since everybody's loving it in the chat, we're going to give him a Fenton.
Jesus Christ! Fenton! Oh, Jesus Christ! Fenton!
Oh, look at him go. That would be Shit Pancake. If Shit Pancake,
I
that
love
would be
that
him.
clip so much.
That would be-
Mary's like, you need to send that to me.
Yeah, I do love it.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Fenton!
Oh, we did get Diego Flores just sent a super chat. He said, it's for Jeff, so
Oh, Jeff.
I'll read it. It says, Jesse wanted to ask Jeff if he saw the 40K rulebook I sent to his email to help him get into the universe. Jeff,
I heard my name. What?
did you see the rulebook to Diego? Like, what? What? Diego Flores sent you the rulebook for 40K to the
Did he
email.
send it to the channel?
Probably.
I love how we're trying to figure this
So, Diego,
out.
he hasn't seen it yet. If you send it to the channel email, then Kendo will forward it to him. So
I'll watch for Diego's answer on that. But you know what? I just love that because Jeff just gave us an example of men listening in the wild. This is what we hear. Wah 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 wah. Our name. Wah 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 wah. Food. Wah 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 wah. Sex. Wah 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 wah. My name. Wah 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 wah.
Jesus Christ!
why do you have all these women saying the words "my name" to you? That's weird.
Well, no, I'm just saying you put your name in there.
I know what you're saying.
I know you're being funny. God
Well,
damn
you
it.
had to call my name repeatedly.
Damn, Tom, you had to ruin that.
I hear Jeff.
Yes, channel email, he says. So.
Yeah, I went to the channel email. Okay, cool.
I'll tell Kendo to forward
So
it.
Kendo will send it his way.
All right. And remind Jeff that we're going to be having to record that roundtable very soon when we get the.
Conduct your business off air, you asshats!
And that video I will direct, but never mind. We'll talk about it off the air. No.
Fucking hell, Tom.
I want final cut.
Okay.
So
All right.
Are
All
we
right,
all
we're
done
passing
now?
it back on over to the schlub. Tom, wait, how did you describe yourself when we first started? It wasn't
Schmo.
schlub, was it? It was something else.
She was
Schmo.
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 Yeah,
Okay.
Schmo.
Schmo's a step above schlub.
Okay. We're passing it back over to the schmo who accommodates us ladies every week, and of course we appreciate it. Tom.
Yes, that is correct. Check out our link in the description for those fine toxic femininity t-shirts. Now, men, I can't guarantee you will look this hot in them, but I can guarantee you that if you have a lady, she may. And if you're cold, we have these lovely hoodies. See what I did there?
Well done.
See
Well
that?
done.
See?
Cold.
Oh, great Odin's Raven.
See?
Buy him now. You'll need him in the winter.
That's right. And check out these ladies. They're just there's links are in the description. You can subscribe to all their channels. Subscribe to Mindless Entertainment, starring Jessi Milestone herself. OG Star Wars Legends gal Laura has all your Legends needs. I said it right this time, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Woo! You deserve a Fenton.
I do, or do I
Yeah,
deserve a
for getting it
puppy?
right. For getting it right.
It's a
I'll do
nice effort puppy for that.
I'll get
one.
one.
You think
I'll give
so?
myself Fenton, and I'll give myself a maximum effort puppy. Well,
There we go.
all right. And last but definitely not least, our hostess with the mostest, Mary B.
Going straight to fucking bed.
I know, right? I'm about that point. I've got my schedule around where I've been getting up so early, and I'm like, ugh.
Can I do a last shameless plug real quick?
Absolutely.
It's actually a twofer. One is this Thursday, Mindless Entertainment, 8:30 p.m. Pacific. Join me, Jeff, and Tom for a very special, very secret show. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be awesome. And two, make sure you follow Shit Pancake on Twitter because he is launching his YouTube channel next week.
Sweet.
What?
That's a big announcement.
Yeah, and he's really excited to be here, and it's going to be great.
Right on.
Hold on, I'm searching Shit Pancake on Twitter right now.
You aren't already one of the. Oh wow, I was like one of the first.
Yeah, goddamn. Why aren't you already
follower?
All the cool kids are, right? Random.
Haven't you got any goddamn feelings about that?
I'm the 53rd follower.
I was like, I don't remember what number I was, but I don't think there was many on there when I did it. It was like 6, I think.
There were
maybe
that probably
4.
not. But he has 54 whole followers now. Hooray for me!
Yeah.
Woo! I'm so excited.
There you go.
I'm gonna be a star.
It's got the potential.
Mom still hasn't told me what a star is, but I'm going to try to be one. Is that good?
I was told there was kibble involved.
I was told there's kibble involved. Didn't know kitties eat kibble, but okay. I mean, my cat is always stealing the dog's food, though. That is true. I've got the. Oh man, here's the weird thing. I got these like all natural, like I don't know. They smell like vitamins, but they're for the dog to calm her down because she's just so high strung. And I went and gave her the 2 chews, and the cat fucking ate one. I'm like, oh great.
Okay.
I'm like, so he's either going to be way whacked out of his brain or whatever. No, that motherfucker was like he was on crack. He was like asshole times 10. He's like, I'm ready to freak the fuck out. And he snuck out on me. So I don't know what the hell he did outside. But
one of my cats would scare a Bernese Mountain Dog, that is a large dog, off of his food when I was dog sitting him, and then would go up to the food and realize these kibbles are far too big for me to eat and just be sad.
So, Kashyyyk Queen, I seen you snuck in here at the last moment.
Yeah, I love you, lady.
So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I like kitty and dogs. I like them. My pets get angry though when I watch videos about puppies and kitties. They're like I'm cheating on them. I gotta imagine though, it's probably like, you know, watching porn in front of your wife or something, you know.
Well, Pancake's favorite movie is Beethoven, so
there you go.
He loves animal movies, live action and animated.
But I don't know what it is. I swear, like every wormhole leads to kitty or puppy videos on YouTube, because no matter what you're watching, you ever find yourself going down the rabbit hole or just leave the automatic play thing on.
Yes.
And before too long, you're always on a puppy or kitty video. It just never fails.
That's how the internet is programmed.
I don't know. I usually eventually wind up on somebody in the Fandom Menaces channel.
No, you start with like gruesome deaths, and you wind up on eventually just before you know it.
Puppies and kitties, and then somehow end up on gruesome deaths. But
well, there's that too. You always start one way or the other. That's the anomaly, isn't it weird?
It is strange. Clearly, it's just a metaphor for life. How happiness and sadness are.
Or you'll get somewhere in the middle where it's like my puppy reacting to the death of the dad on Lion King. You know, like that kind of shit. Like that's where like it's like you get the two worlds colliding, and you're just like weird. But I found that one the other day. It was like my dog reacting to the death of the what's the name of the dad on Lion King, Mary? Mufasa.
Talking about Mufasa.
I've only seen the Lion King like twice. Okay, believe me, I'm not kidding.
Get the fuck out.
You should.
It's just not one of my. I've seen The Little Mermaid 162 times. Okay, leave me alone.
Yeah,
that's not the one to watch.
Balance.
It is for me.
Wrong here. Balance not correct here.
All the Lion King is Macbeth or Hamlet or whatever it was with fucking lions. It was Hamlet, wasn't it? Yeah.
Hamlet with lions, yes. And then Lion King 2 is Romeo and Juliet with lions. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Love that. Hottest lion.
To me, the Lion King doesn't start till the last 15 minutes when Timon and Pumbaa show up.
They're in like a bunch of it.
Mm-hmm. Not really. Not as much as you'd think. They don't show up till like the last 20 minutes or so.
They're there for like 45 minutes.
Is it 45? It didn't feel like it.
Half of the movie, because Mufasa's death, because they come in right after Mufasa dies, and Mufasa dies
like 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes after that.
If you two get into a long ass conversation about the Lion King, I'm gonna slap Fenton.
Oh, poor Fenton.
Why would you ever do that to Fenton? What did he ever do to you?
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
That's right. All right, folks.
Mary's gonna
Mary wants to get going. We have gone like a half hour and some longer than we'd planned on. But thanks again, everybody, for hanging in there. We appreciate it. So thank you so much for the support, the super chats, the shares, the likes, the hanging in the chat. You know, putting up with our weirdness.
Oh yeah.
Now go watch some kitten video.
Yeah, now go watch some kitten videos right after this.
Or people dying, whatever you like.
Or people dying.
Start
one or the other.
Or
Or if you're anything like Anna, you'll watch people popping zits and shit.
I was gonna say or some toe shit or
I had a girlfriend like that. I just
no more stories. No more zit popping.
We're
No
done.
more.
We're
Good
done.
night.
No more.
All right. Should we end on this note?
Yes.
Yeah.
Midnight Sedge presents Real Boneheads of Cinema.
Real boneheads of cinema.
Today we salute you, Miss Kathleen Kennedy.
A real temple of doom.
Who could make so many movies, yet up the greatest franchise of all time?
How the hell did you make me like the prequels?
You made movies with Steven Spielberg.
Dude made Jaws of Jurassic Park.
You think some talent would have rubbed off on you?
Oh yeah, some residual talent.
The only real talent you ever had was getting Spielberg coffee.
I'll take mine with 2 sugars.
And hiring Harvey Weinstein's former assistant was a nice move, wasn't it?
She likes all the Star Wars.
So pack up your and get your Baby Yoda hating forces female ass out of here because we've had enough.
Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, you real bonehead.